It's Monday, October 27th.
The government of Canada stands ready to build on the progress that we had been making in our negotiations, our discussions with our American counterparts. It is the sole responsibility of the government of Canada to have those discussions.
Despite a trade war with the U.S., Prime Minister Mark Carney says he's positioning Canada as a great place to invest and to trade with.
We've gone up as high as 53% of the delays have been because of staffing shortages. And that number moves.
Delays in the U.S. are expected to get worse as more air travel workers reject being told to work for free.
We put a lot of hard work in, just like Regina has, and so we wanted to make sure that we were going to finish strong.
The PFC and the Saskatoon Hilltops are PFC champions. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. To your morning, Saskatchewan. It's just after 6. My name is Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. We hope you had a great weekend, and we hope you had a great week off. Welcome back.
Childcare is not a week off. My goodness, there's just enough split between the two. I have a 1-year-old and 4-year-old it's hard to juggle.
Did you get any sleep at all?
I got a little sleep, but if you're a single parent out there, God bless you. Oh my goodness, thank you for Sarah to coming back. 6:01. Let's get to news. Prime Minister Mark Carney, speaking with reporters in Malaysia at the ASEAN summit this morning, says despite the U.S. halting trade talks, Canada is still ready to negotiate.
The government of Canada stands ready to build on the progress that we had been making in our negotiations, our discussions with our American counterparts. It is the sole responsibility of the government of Canada to have those discussions.
This comes after U.S. President Donald Trump told reporters he won't be meeting with Carney for, quote, a long time. Trump cut off trade talks last week over an anti-tariff ad run by the Ontario government in American markets. President Trump then threatened an additional 10% tariff top-up because the ad wasn't pulled from air fast enough. Carney and Trump were both at the summit on Sunday but did not cross paths. Carney says he's been busy in Asia, positioning Canada as a great place to invest and trade with. Meantime, U.S. President Donald Trump is in Japan this morning as he focuses on building new trade deals. Trump is set to meet with Japan's new prime minister for the very first time. This comes as the trade deal with China is said to be close. American officials say there is a framework for President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping to talk about when they meet in South Korea later this week. Trump's focus in Asia has been on trade and realigning the international economy, putting America first. Air travel delays in the U.S. are getting worse because of a government shutdown, forcing employees to work without pay.
We've gone up as high as 53% of the delays have been because of staffing shortages. And that number moves every single day.
Air traffic controllers and TSA agents aren't being paid during the U.S. government shutdown, but they are being told to work anyway because they're considered essential workers. As the shutdown drags on, more of them are calling in sick or looking for second jobs. More than 3,000 U.S. flights were delayed yesterday. Los Angeles International Airport was shut down for a few hours yesterday because of staffing shortages. Travelers are being told to expect more delays as the U.S. heads into a busy holiday season. Let's turn our attention to Saskatoon and a fire, Jeremy Dodge.
Yeah, Daryl, good morning. Saskatoon emergency crews responding to a residential fire. This was shortly before 4 o'clock Saturday. Source in it was a basement fire in a home in the 100 block of 7th Street East. All occupants safely exited prior to the arrival of the fire department. However, one pet, a cat, was found dead in the aftermath. The Saskatoon Quilters Guild hosted their biannual quilt extravaganza over the weekend. A show and sales an opportunity for quilters from across Saskatoon to showcase their skills and connect with other quilters from right across the country. A series of educational sessions were also held throughout the 2 days, and the event has always featured a featured quilter, and this year, Deborah Barlow holds that title.
I've started out doing traditional quilts, And I used to just do scrap quilts, and then I found out that there was a guild in the city. I joined the guild, and I learned that there are art quilts. There's all different things. It just opened up a whole new world to me, and then it became my passion.
That's Deborah Barlow. She has a number of award-winning pieces, including Weir Fishing, which won 2024 Best in Show Award at the National Juried Show in Edmonton. All right, Daryl, back to you. Some community events underway in Regina as well.
Yeah, some of Regina's top young chess players at the George Bothwell Library on Saturday. The tournament featured a double elimination format with 2 kids representing each school, ages upwards of 18, eligible to compete. However, each game was timed at 5 minutes, forcing quick decisions. 2 suspects have now been arrested in connection with the brazen daylight jewelry heist you might have heard of at the Louvre. 2 men in their 30s now in custody. One suspect was arrested in a Paris suburb. The other was nabbed as he was about to board a flight to Algeria. Gloves, a jacket, and DNA samples were reportedly found at the crime scene. Thieves broke into the Louvre last week using a crane and stole 8 pieces of French royal jewels worth an estimated $102 million. Took them about 7 minutes to get it all done. For the third time in 5 years, the Saskatoon Hilltops are Prairie Football Conference champions, beating the Regina Thunder in overtime on Sunday.
We put a lot of hard work in it, just like Regina has, and so we wanted to make sure that we were going to finish strong.
The PFC final.
Griffin Sander finding Isaiah Vanderlaten in the end zone for a game-winning walk-off touchdown to seal the Hilltops' 30-27 win over the Thunder. Each of the past 5 PFC title games have featured these 2 squads. Saskatoon down as many as 15 in this in the 4th, and they came all the way back to win it.
What a play! At first, I had to catch it. I had to, no ifs, ands, and buts. The guy was guarding me. I guess he thought I was doing another route, so when I hit him with the corner, then I hit him with the post, he fell for it. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's a great feeling.
We put a lot of hard work in it, just like Regina has, and so we wanted to make sure that we were going to finish strong, and we were going to finish for each other, and they did that today. And as I said, all we do is we get to play another week.
Hilltops will now face the Okanagan Sun in the 117th Canadian Bowl at Saskatoon's SMF Field in November on the 9th. The search of their Canadian junior football record 24th championship begins. My goodness, they've been successful. Let's get over to the Weather Center. I heard the word snow bandied about in other parts of the country. Are we worried about that here?
Well, we are seeing some snow in the province today. It's just mainly up in the north part of the province, some bits into the central part, but still not really going to be seeing that precipitation down towards the south later on today, although the southeast corner did see some of that rain earlier on this morning. -3 to wake us up in Regina. This morning view is still dark. It's brought to you by recyclemyelectronics.ca, where you can find a drop-off location near you. We are seeing some winds coming in right now at 17 kilometers per hour and clear skies to start the day in Regina. Clear skies in Saskatoon to wake us up already into those positive temperatures, so that's nice to see. 1 degree right now. Winds a little bit stronger right now, coming in at 26 kilometers per hour, and those are going to be increasing in our afternoon as well. And here's where we're going to be seeing the strongest winds. All those areas lighting up in yellow right now, and some pieces even turning red. We could be seeing winds up to about 50 kilometers per hour in those areas. Down in the southeast is where we're seeing the less strong winds today. Now, here's a look at how that snow is going to be coming in later on into the afternoon. So this is at about 6 a.m., but then we watch as we head into those afternoon hours. It's going to be rotating, tracking east, bringing some snow to areas around Lloydminster there, and then in areas north of that as well. As we head into tomorrow, we start to see that disappear a little bit from the central zone, still seeing it up north, however, into Tuesday. And then we're just really looking forward to Wednesday, when we see some more snow coming into the area in the north and some rain coming in for areas in the south. And that does include some rain for Saskatoon and Regina on Wednesday afternoon. Current temperatures now, we're seeing Spiritwood at 3 degrees to wake us up, Nipawin at 2 degrees. We're seeing Wynyard at 4 degrees and 2 degrees in Yorkton this hour. Some areas still in those negatives, so Weyburn at -3, Assiniboia at -1, and East End starting the day at -2. Later on this afternoon, we are seeing many areas seeing those temperatures above the seasonal average, which has been dropping in the past few days. So these temperatures, although they're not necessarily warm, they are still above the average. Now, our 5-day forecast for Regina, showing that rain that we just talked about on the way for Wednesday. But other than that, we are seeing some days with some nicer temperatures compared to, again, the seasonal average. But that really does drop on Thursday down to about 5 degrees. So that's when temperatures are going to be dropping below the average. 5-day forecast for Saskatoon showing about the same. So 11 degrees today, 7 degrees tomorrow, 11 on Wednesday with that rain on the way, and then dropping down to 8 degrees on Thursday and 4 degrees on Friday.
This morning, groundbreaking mind-to-movement technology, giving people with spinal cord injuries, like Angie Donaldson, the ability to move and even feel again for the first time in years.
You're going to play the piano with your brain.
Yes.
It's done using a cutting-edge brain-computer interface, or BCI, at the University of Pittsburgh and UPMC Rehabilitation Institute.
The BCI can actually record activity from their brain, interpret patterns of activity to understand the intent that the person's trying to communicate, and then turn that into a signal for an external device.
The hope is that someday BCIs can help people with spinal cord injuries at home by restoring lost mobility or feeling. Angie is the newest study participant. She was paralyzed from the chest down after a fall down the stairs in 2019. Her life changing instantly.
Your independence, it's essentially gone. I have to rely on someone to help me get in and out of bed, shower, get dressed. It's a lot.
How is it being a parent living with a spinal cord injury?
Very, very challenging. I get a lot of mom guilt because I'm not able to do the things I used to do with them physically, and that's tough.
The injury was traumatic and isolating, but Angie, now 45, has found solace here at the lab. She says it gives her purpose.
I'm inspired again. I feel hopeful again because this technology is just going to get better. And if they can get the technology of sensation going in our hands, eventually it could be your bladder, it could be your legs. We're just starting.
28-year-old Nathan Copeland can use his brain to move this robotic arm. In fact, he's the longest working study participant at the lab. He's been going for 11 years.
Firm grip.
And now, since the car accident that paralyzed him from the chest down 21 years ago, Nathan is once again able to experience the sensation of touch.
It feels like my middle finger.
People have really focused mostly on the ability to move, but we know from lots of evidence that if you can't feel things, you really can't move effectively.
I think it's kind of definitely dreamlike, just thinking about something and it's happening.
Health Report, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Blue Cross, protecting your health since 1946.
In case you missed it, Saskatchewan Catan players faced off against one another on Saturday. The game Settlers of Catan is a strategy board game which has a strong global following. Players from around the province faced off at Gather Local Market for the opportunity to represent Saskatchewan on the national stage.
Oh yeah, we have Edmonton, Regina, all over Saskatchewan. We even have a few from Winnipeg over here, so it's definitely growing, and I look forward to seeing more people from the provinces beside us come out.
At the end of the day, Emmanuel Vella won the competition and will have the opportunity to head to the national event in 2027. A national event for this.
Well, congratulations. I've never played this game.
No, neither have I. What about you, Jeremy?
I have dabbled. I'd like to get back into it. It's so huge. Like, they go to nationals, and then there's even international in, like, Germany or something.
Same can be said for Risk. Risk is the same way. That brings up an interesting question of the day today.
Yeah, so this is a fun one. What board game is most likely to start a fight in your house?
Jeremy, let's start with you.
Oh, no. We don't play too many violent games in our family, but we do play a lot of Hearts. And Hearts has has that queen of spades that, when given to one of your opponents, is never a fun thing.
Okay,
and some people start to feel targeted sometimes.
Are you flipping the Monopoly board at your house?
Not the Monopoly board, but I don't know if you've heard of Monopoly Deal, which is like a version. It's a card game version of Monopoly. That one starts fights in my house, and for me, I will always start a fight with Ticket to Ride. I'm very competitive with Ticket to Ride.
Upwards in our house, which is a take on Scrabble. You can build upwards because my wife's a francophone and French words don't count in English games. What board game will start a fight in your house? Text us 10400, standard message rates may apply, or scan the QR code and Kayleen will share those answers as we look out over the city of Regina? Saskatoon this morning. See, it's hard to tell when you're this early in the morning. 6:18, we're back in just a second.
Cenovus Energy is further sweetening the deal to take over MEG Energy. MEG says Cenovus has modified its latest takeover offer to $30 a share. A special meeting of MEG shareholders remains scheduled for October 30th. And stock futures jumped this morning after U.S. and Chinese officials cooled tensions over the weekend. There's now optimism a trade deal can be reached between the two. Japan's Nikkei reached a new record high today, surpassing 50,000. Meanwhile, interest rate cuts are likely this week in both the U.S. and Canada, while the rest of the G7 looks on. The Bank of Japan, which is inching toward a rate hike, is expected to hold off, and officials with the European Central Bank have signaled there will be no further easing at the moment. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
All right, it is time to head out on the go, and Mike eagerly awaiting sunrise for one very special reason this morning. Mike?
Yeah, because these are massive solar panels behind us. The only thing we didn't consider this morning was that it's dark still, but that's okay. We're here with Jose Charuvalath talking about this incredible project here with Saskatoon Light and Power right on the edge of Circle Drive. And this is a massive solar panel. Talk us through kind of the design of these things.
All right. So this is the Dundonald Avenue Solar Farm, and essentially it is the city's first utility-scale solar implementation by Saskatoon Light and Power. And once built, it'll be the largest solar system in Saskatoon.
No doubt about it. I love it. Now, each one of these, I mean, how many of these kind of, what are they called? Squares, blocks?
Yeah, so essentially solar panels or solar modules. The site has about 5,000 of them. And combined, they make about 2.8 megawatts of solar capacity. That is enough energy to power about 400 homes, which is roughly a neighborhood the size of River Heights or the Willows.
Absolutely incredible. And it's free power, right? I mean, we're just harnessing the sun's rays?
Absolutely. We are farming the sun and bringing in that solar energy.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the location, because we're right off the edge of Circle Drive. I mean, as far as a use of real estate, is there a better use for this land?
This is a perfect site. It is a brownfield site that we are reclaiming with the installation of the solar system. Essentially, you know, it is vacant land that is not commercially usable for any other purpose. So we thought this is a perfect location. It has excellent south exposure, which is great for solar collection and solar energy.
I love that. And then, does it have to be full sun for these things still to collect?
No, it does not. Absolutely, like the solar collected or solar energy collected increases as the amount of the intensity of the sun is strong. So usually that follows, I guess, the right around midday is when it'll be at its max, and then it kind of winds down as the sun sets.
Very, very cool. I've got more questions than time right now, but the good news is we have 2 more segments out here. We'll keep learning about our new solar farm.
Yeah, Mike, I know a lot of people have been wondering about that development off Circle Drive, so look forward to hearing all about it throughout the morning.
A look at your school day forecast brought to you by CAA School Safety Patrol, working together to keep our school zone safe. If you're heading out to catch the bus in Regina, we're only at -3 right now, so it's a little bit chilly. Grab a jacket. 1 degree, though, in Saskatoon. By lunchtime in both cities, we'll be sitting at the same temperature, 10 degrees expected at 12. We're going to be seeing some winds just a little bit stronger through Saskatoon than Regina this afternoon. And by final bell, we'll be sitting at those daytime highs for Regina. That will be 12 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. A little bit more sunshine at that time in Saskatoon, sitting at that daytime high of 11 degrees. As we go to break, here's a look at those gas prices in Regina. The common cost to fill up is $1.31.9. You can find regular fuel for as low as $1.16.9. In Saskatoon, the common cost to fill up $1.32.9, but you might find the lowest at $1.21.9. Taking a look at the farm markets now, the street price of canola at $5.60.92 per ton, and the futures price at $6.23.10 per ton. Amber Durham wheat at $2.82.27 per ton this morning, and red spring wheat at $2.44.21 per ton. And the Canadian dollar begins the day trading at 71.36 cents U.S. Your morning returns in 2 minutes' time.
Welcome to your morning, Saskatchewan. It is 6:30, and the health minister of this province heard from doctors on Friday on the province's plans to use involuntary addictions treatments, with some fearing it will make people's addictions worse. With what we know, here's Keenan Sorakhan.
This is absolute garbage.
Doctors who work closely with addictions and homelessness aren't in favor of the Compassionate Intervention Act.
Opens the door and precedent to do it to more people. So letting this fly, letting this happen for even one person is too many.
Dr. Brabant says forced treatment goes against the central tenet of medical ethics, patient autonomy. She says you can't force treatment for someone who doesn't want it. Health Minister Jeremy Cockrell says these are difficult conversations that will continue, but the province isn't backing down.
These can be controversial and thorny topics. There's space, there's need for us to continue working with experts in this field.
Dr. Sean Groves feels there's a disconnect. The Laurent doctor has seen 20 to 25 new HIV cases the last couple of years after more than a decade of stability. And he says this spike in cases coincides with the province's move away from harm reduction, like not giving clean pipes and not handing out needles unless a used needle was brought back first.
I'm not sure that when the minister says recovery, it means the same thing as what I think of when I say recovery.
Brabant wonders if the legislation is meant for people presenting a danger to themselves or others, where is the line? She says smoking is highly addictive and causes a wide variety of health problems as well. But addressing the root cause should be prioritized.
I think the big issue is a lack of understanding of the continuum of care that's required to get people to a point where recovery can be beneficial in their lives.
Cockrell says there are doctors in support of this legislation, and he needs to balance these concerns with the concerns of Saskatchewan families. Keenan Sorakhan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A concerning new report this morning from Food Banks Canada says increased levels of poverty and hunger are becoming normalized in this country. Food banks visited continue to rise across the country, reaching nearly 2.2 million visits monthly. That's double the number from 2019. Nearly 1 in 5 people who rely on food banks have jobs. That's up 12% from 6 years ago. 1/3 of food bank users are children, representing nearly 712,000 monthly visits this year. And 70% of food banks, the users, live in the market rent housing. Food Banks Canada is calling for legislative changes to tackle the crisis, including modernizing the EI system and making life more affordable by investing in housing. Hurricane Melissa rapidly strengthened to a Category 4 storm barreling through the Caribbean.
It now seems virtually certain that the core of a powerful hurricane is going to move over Jamaica on a Tuesday.
Satellite images show the eye of Melissa nearing Cuba with winds reaching 220 kilometers per hour. Jamaica is bracing for impact with fears the storm could strengthen by the time it hits, causing flash flooding, storm surges, and landslides. About 51,000 teachers are expected to be ordered back to the classroom today in Alberta, ending a teacher strike there. Teachers for the Alberta UCP government planning to table back to work legislation. Teachers have been on strike since October 6th. Teachers say say the province has not adequately addressed classroom sizes, staffing, or wages. On her radio call-in show Saturday, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says her government has been listening, but not every issue can be bargained at the table. Families are showing their Halloween spirit in Regina through a trick-or-treat event over the weekend at Government House. Kids dressing up in their costumes, some matching outfits with their parents, taking part in several activities, including trick-or-treating, magic shows around the museum. Volunteers from the Regina Symphony Orchestra also on hand with the Globe Theatre, Dark Hall, and more representing this costume, as well as the Lieutenant Governor of Saskatchewan, Bernadette McIntyre, giving out candy.
We hope that this is just an opportunity for them to get an introduction to Government House in a fun and exciting way, and then they come back with their families and hopefully learn more about the building and the property.
Thousands of people attended on Sunday. Organizers say it continues to grow every year. Saskatoon Library hosted their second annual Game and Puzzle Swap Sunday. Hosted by Saskatoon's Makerspace, the event is intended to give a more sustainable option for people looking to switch up their puzzles or board games, rather. Organizers say it's an opportunity to highlight Circular Economy Awareness Month.
Members of the community can come in and they bring in either a bag of Sarcan or $5, and they can swap out as many board games and puzzles as they want. They're encouraged to bring their own. They don't have to. They can just take, but then it keeps them out of the landfill, but also is a low-key effort fundraiser for us, too.
Organizers say they're hopeful the swap can become a seasonal event so folks can attend up to 4 times a year. Let's get over to the Weather Center and join Kayleen Sawatsky. Kayleen, are we worried about snow at all?
Well, not down here in the south, but areas up in the north, yes. We are going to be seeing some snow later on into the afternoon. Some very light rain down in the southeast corner earlier on this morning. We're not going to be seeing that continuing on into the afternoon, though. -3 to wake us up in Regina. Some clear skies, but the sun not quite up yet. Not going to be seeing that for about another hour's time. South winds coming in at 17 kilometers per hour in Regina, and just a little bit stronger in Saskatoon. Those winds likely going to be stronger in the central zone later on into the afternoon as well, with some areas around Lloydminster there getting winds up to about 50 kilometers per hour. 1 degree, though, to wake us up in Saskatoon. Again, seeing some clear skies there. The radar and satellite showing where we saw that precipitation overnight. So there was some rain in areas surrounding Saskatoon and Prince Albert, as well as later on into the early morning down in that southeast corner there, even farther east than Estevan. Now, moving into the later parts of the afternoon, we are going to be seeing some more of that snow. That's the purple you see on the screen making its way in from Alberta. That is tracking northeast. Going to be rotating a little bit, again, bringing some flurries to areas in between Saskatoon and Prince Albert later on this afternoon. And then it's not going to be tracking any farther south. It's going to be going right back up towards the north as we head into the later parts of the morning on Tuesday. Now, in Saskatoon and Regina, when we're worried about seeing that precipitation coming through, is actually going to be some rain later in the afternoon on Wednesday. Some snow coming along with that in areas northwest of Saskatoon there. Now, in Regina, the high today is expected to be 12 degrees and 11 degrees for Saskatoon. How that compares to our average is that we typically see about 7.8 this time of year in Regina, and about 6.9 is the average for Saskatoon. So still seeing temperatures above the seasonal average, although most people wouldn't call these temperatures warm, but warmer is the right word to be using. Last year, we were at 15 degrees for Regina and 12 degrees for Saskatoon. The record was back in the year 1938 in Regina. That was 22.8 and 21.1 in 1944 for Saskatoon. Now, temperatures today, as we mentioned, many areas still above that average, other than the Battleford, seeing that wind today up to about 7 degrees. The 7-day forecast showing that we do have that rain on the way for Wednesday, but temperatures don't really drop until Thursday in Regina. And in Saskatoon, again, rain on the way for Wednesday. Temperatures dropping to about 8 degrees on Thursday, but 4 degrees on Friday. So it's going to be a cool start to the weekend.
Hello there, Jermaine Franklin with you inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Sunday. For that, we'll head to Foxborough for this one. Browns, Patriots, third quarter, Dylan Gabriel steps out the pocket and goes deep. But check out Jalen Hawkins. He comes up big, making an incredible one-handed catch for the interception. That's a second pick of the season, and it comes in style for Hawkins and the Pats. And he earns your must-see moment from Sunday. Tonight on TSN, Week 8 of the NFL season wraps up with Monday Night Football as the Commanders visit the Chiefs. It all starts at 5 p.m. Central across the network. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
We've got the leader of the official opposition in studio with us this morning, Carla Beck. Thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be here.
First thing I want to start with is, because I've never seen it before, is it's almost like you guys have started your campaign well ahead of any election. We're not heading towards one for several years now. What's the strategy behind that? Every week it seems like you're coming out with, here's what we're going to do for policing, here's what we're going to do for homelessness, et cetera, et cetera.
You know, after 18 years, we continue to hear that people are looking for change. They're looking for new ideas. We've got 27 MLAs who have been out talking with people in every corner of this province, and you know what they're hearing is that people want to hear bold new ideas, and that's exactly what we are working with the people of this province to put forward.
A lot can change over the course of a 4-year period. Is it risky to do that?
You know, the issues that we're addressing, whether that's the cost of living or health care, they're not going away. After 18 years, we haven't seen the Sask Party pay attention to those issues or bring forth the ideas that Saskatchewan people need, and so that's something our team has taken on, and you know, people are really excited that someone is listening to them and is going to build those solutions with them.
We just heard in the newscast how the government is tackling or trying to tackle part of the addictions crisis. How would you do it differently?
Look, one of the things that we hear from the government now is around involuntary treatment. As a last resort, that's something we do support, but it should be a last resort. We should be focusing on making sure that there are enough voluntary beds, the prevention that people need, something that really hasn't been addressed. And we should be looking to make sure that we're rolling around some of the worst numbers in the country right now. We're losing a person a day to addictions. We can't let that stand.
So how do you do it differently?
Instead of focusing, as we have seen this government, you know, most recently, exclusively almost on involuntary treatment, we should be working with those families, those survivors, those experts in our communities to actually ensure that everyone who is experiencing addiction has a bed, has a place that they can go without a wait list to ensure that they start getting the treatment that they need. That's not something that we've seen. We've seen nothing on the prevention side from this government. It can't just be one small piece. This is incredibly complex, and we need to have a full strategy to start turning those rates of addictions around.
Part of the throne speech was actually fun, right? The introduction of tailgating at Mosaic Stadium. I'm sure that's not a big issue for your party.
No, I mean, I've been a season ticket holder for a long time. You know,
Jersey,
was there this past weekend. Look, you know, throne speeches are about priorities, and this is a government that, you know, failed to talk about EV tariffs once in their throne speech, failed to address the healthcare crisis the day after we saw 450 healthcare professionals really sounding the alarm about conditions at RUH in Saskatoon. Nothing new, excuse me, to deal with the fact that people in this province are experiencing the highest rates of financial insecurity, nothing for affordability.
These are the issues you're going to press over the next 5.5 weeks?
Yes. You know, I don't think it'll come as any surprise. Those are the main issues. Those are the things that people are saying are most important to them. We're going to both hold the government to account, but also be bringing forth legislation of our own to show how we would address those things.
Do you think that the government can work with you on those?
Well, I hope that they can. I mean, some very straightforward, effective solutions that we're bringing forward. That remains to be seen. You know, this is not a government that takes advice from anyone. Often, it seems. We are going to work with the people of the province and show them that there is an alternative to this government.
You got a busy day. We'll let you get back to it, Carla. Thank you for doing this.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Daryl.
Is creeping it real down at something called Terra Nova Terror. Good morning, Janelle.
Hi, Jeremy. Good morning. Happy Monday morning as well. We are starting off this week a little bit spooky. I've got Julia with me, who is the creator of this haunted experience. Now, Julia, tell me a little bit what's in store for us here this morning.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for coming to Terra Nova Terror. This is my 11th year running this. This is called the Psyche of the Mind. This is not like your average haunted house. What it is the creation over the last 11 years of collecting artifacts that have been haunted. And so what you're about to experience is paranormal activity.
Incredible. Now, the funds for this every year is something special. These funds go towards different charities.
Yeah, so over the last few years, it started out just as a fun gesture for our neighborhood, offering my fears that went into the haunted house, helping us through that. And then we started collecting donations to MS Society, people who have suffered with MS, because that's how this started, with me having multiple sclerosis. And then it's gone to domestic violence, it's gone to homes that needed a little extra help. And this year, we haven't said anything because it's a personal thing that we're helping people.
All right, so an incredible and inspiring incentive to make sure to come check this out this year. Now, Julia, what was this evolution process like? We were talking earlier. You've seen this grow massively.
I have. Over the last 11 years, it started with me leaving the hospital, stopping at the dollar store, and just getting the last little remnants of whatever was in there, which wasn't a lot, threw it in one little space in the haunted house. So basically, it was like a coloring book and a table and a few spooktify things. And now it's created into my front yard, into the back, and also into the garage, which is 13 areas of a masterpiece that I've created.
Amazing. Well, I am so excited to check this out, Julia. Thank you so much for having us this morning. We're going to be back soon. Make sure that you're prepared to get a little spooky. Things are going to be haunted. We're going to check this out very soon, Julia.
Sounds good.
Here is your Monday morning weather or not. Your question is, when was the first weather satellite launched into space?
Okay.
Was it 1950, 1960, 1970, 1980, or 1990?
Now I'm roughly offended because this morning you said it's about in your time period. Should be fine.
Yeah.
You should get it.
I was putting it in this morning, and I said, yeah, you'll know this one, Daryl.
Which now means, what do I guess? Because how old do you think I really am?
How offensive do you think I was trying to be?
I'm going to say you're going to be moderately offensive. I'm going to go with C. Jeremy, what do you think?
No, I think the space race was, I think it was 1960, wasn't it? Wasn't that when it really heated up?
Okay, I'm going to stick with C, though.
All right, the correct answer is 1960. April 1st, to be exact, the Tyros 1 was launched into space. The television and infrared observation satellites images revealed a high degree of organization to the Earth's weather and cloud systems.
Now I'm still offended.
Sorry, Daryl. It's October 27th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We'll start with some belated wishes from over the weekend. On Saturday, Pat marked his 50th birthday. We hope it was a great one. Enjoy being 1 year older. Happy birthday to Sawyer, who turned 12 years old yesterday. We hope it was an awesome day with love from your family and friends. Also celebrating yesterday was Claire. Happy birthday to you. We hope you had a great day filled with love and happiness. Belated birthday wishes also going out to Brendan. He has love coming his way from Sheena, Claire, and Nora. Happy birthday. Yesterday Yesterday was also the 57th wedding anniversary for David and Diane, an amazing couple. Paul and Phyllis sent in this photo and said they're wishing you all the love in the world. Happy birthday to Amelia today. She's turning 13 years old. Lots of love from your mom, dad, Alice, and the rest of your family. Also celebrating today is Luella. Happy birthday to you, with lots of love from Lori and Eric. Turning 75 years old today is Dawn. Happy birthday to you. We hope you have a wonderful day celebrating from Jeff and Mary. Happy 90th birthday to Anne. We hope you have a wonderful day celebrating as well. Your family says that they love you so much. Enjoy your day. And finally, we didn't get a name for this one, but this photo came into our inbox to say happy birthday to their grandma. Love your girls, Nolan and AJ. If you have any celebrations coming up, send us your milestones to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca, or you can scan that QR code on your screen. Please make sure you send those in at least one day in advance.
What's going on this Monday, Chase?
Well, we're asking the question today, how much to change your name? That's what's happening in Duck Lake, Saskatchewan right now. They're looking to sell their name for a cool $10 million. So personally, if someone came up to you and said, all right, how much for me to name you right now, what would you say? You can text over to 54321. I was trying to break this down. If I'm going like a yearly contract, I think between like $10,000 to $15,000. If it's the full meal deal rest of my life, I think I'd let it slide for like $3 to $5 million. Again, depending on the name, I'd have ultimate approval there, but I would 100% sell that for some cash. You can let me know by texting into 54321. What would your price be?
$150.
Oscar-winning filmmaker Guillermo del Toro says he would rather die than use generative AI. He told NPR, "I hope to be able to remain uninterested in using it at all until I croak." The Frankenstein director says his Victor is similar to the tech bros. He's kind of blind, creating something without considering the consequences.
It's just so hard to forget them. My mom's trying to make it like my dad never even existed.
McKenna Grace runs the gamut of emotions in Colleen Hoover's Regretting You. Co-stars Allison Williams, Dave Franco, and Mason Thames were impressed. Colleen Hoover's Regretting You is now in theaters. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
My trail dictate the rest.
All right, we're going to kick things off with a Canadian quiz in our sidebar.
Quick ones, eh? Height? 5'11". Correct. And on your driver's license? 180 centimeters. Correct. How much do you weigh? 185 pounds. But at the doctor? 84 kilograms. Correct. What's the temperature? Minus 10 outside? Celsius? Obviously. The oven is set to 350.
Why are we like this? Australian comedian Jimmy Reeves set up this skit to show how confusing Canadian measurements can be. Although we officially use the metric system, a lot of us, of course, use yards and feet and inches and all that kind of stuff.
I agree with this. And you know,
I have no idea what I am in height or weight in kilograms.
That's what I was going to say. I can tell you how much I weigh in pounds. I cannot tell you in kilograms.
I don't have a clue. So it's very astute. What do you got for us, Caitlin?
All right. Well, some people like to take simple tasks and make them a little bit harder to do just for fun.
Of course. No way.
Yeah. So watch this, though. Third time is the charm.
Come on now.
There he goes.
How big are those shorts?
Putting the shorts on the normal way, just too easy for these guys. You got to add the swing into the process. Why wouldn't you, really? A couple failed attempts, but he was able to get it right by the end.
Oh, the wedgie, that would just hurt so bad.
Oh, yeah, actually, I didn't think about that one, Daryl. Ooh.
Oh,
not a thought that I wanted to think about this.
You're welcome. Enjoy your breakfast. Jeremy, quickly.
All right, all siblings, this is something they'd like to come home to.
Brother and sister are going to be here soon.
Yeah, Nora's so excited to see her siblings when they come home from school. She cannot contain herself.
Aria's
okay, one more baby won't hurt.
All right, there we go.
Yes.
Kaylee's off for the next year. We're back in a minute. It's Monday, October 27th.
That's how we tend to do trade, but the U.S. does it differently. It's not how we tend to do trade. That is how we do trade, and the exception is the way the U.S. is doing trade.
As tensions rise with the U.S., Prime Minister Mark Carney works to strengthen ties in Asia.
I'm flying today on sheer faith.
They probably just need to come to an agreement and reopen the government.
Flight delays in the U.S. are expected to get even worse as more air travel workers reject being told to work for free.
Feels in a lot of ways like the team symbolizes what Canadians are all about.
Jays fans are hoping a team known for its resilience can shake off a Game 2 loss as they play Game 3 tonight. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl Rummelt.
And I'm Kayleen Sawatsky. Happy Monday. How does it feel to be back?
Feels pretty good. Listen, I know a lot of people who have made it to Game 1 and 2 of the World Series.
Oh, okay. I've seen some on social media. I just keep on asking, how much were those tickets?
That's what I'm wondering. Mike Thomas from the Regina Flag Football League, he was there in and out in 17 hours. He did it.
Wow.
Flew down, saw the game, had some dinner, flew back.
Quick trips. All right.
Quick trips. We need more airlines to duck some prices so we can afford these things. Let's get over to the news. Prime Minister Mark Carney says he plans to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping at the APEC meetings later this week. But so far, there are no meetings planned with the U.S., who called off negotiations and threatened to increase tariffs on Canada in the wake of those now infamous Ontario anti-tariff ads.
They're not ready to do that, as those comments indicate. Then we were always going to do these things, to be clear. We're going to first and foremost build our economy, build it with generational investments, and you will see that not just the scale of the ambition, but the speed with which we put that into effect in the budget on November 4th, and continue to do what we've been doing over the course of the last few days and over the course of recent months, which is to build those other partnerships and deepen those other partnerships on which we're getting very much traction.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is pitching Canada as a reliable trading partner for countries in Southeast Asia, in contrast to the United States, which has dramatically upended global trading relationships. U.S. President Trump has called off trade talks with Canada and this weekend announced an additional 10% tariff on Canada as he continues to lash out at Canada over those Ontario ads featuring former U.S. President Ronald Reagan.
Whether it's provincial or Canada itself, they all knew exactly what the ad was. The Prime Minister knew, everybody knew. The Prime Minister knew what the ad was before it went.
Will you see him in APEC? Do you want to meet with him?
I don't want to meet with him. No, I'm not going to be meeting with him for a while. No. I'm very happy with the deal we have right now with Canada. We're going to let it ride.
Trump has claimed that Canada misrepresented Reagan's stance on tariffs. Trump has also, so far, not revealed when new tariffs on Canadian products would take effect. Canadians will soon have to be photographed when entering and exiting the U.S., according to new rules from the Department of Homeland Security. The new condition will apply to travelers no matter how they enter or exit the U.S., whether it's by land, air, or sea. The move is part of amendments to how Homeland Security collects biometric data introduced several years ago. No firm word yet on when this will be rolled out. Saskatoon fire crews very busy over the weekend. Jeremy Dodge, we turn things over to you.
Thank you very much, Daryl. Yeah, Saskatoon emergency crews responding to a residential fire shortly before 4 o'clock Saturday. The source, a basement fire in a home on the 100 block of 7th Street East. All occupants safely exited prior to the arrival of the fire department. However, a cat, found dead in the aftermath. The Saskatoon Quilters Guild hosted their biannual quilt extravaganza over the weekend, showing sales an opportunity for quilters from across Saskatoon to showcase their skills and connect with other quilters from right across the country. There's a series of educational sessions held throughout the 2 days, and the event always has a featured quilter. This year, Deborah Barlow holds that title.
I've started out doing traditional quilts, and I used to just do scrap quilts, and then I found out that there was a guild in the city. I joined the guild, and I learned that there are art quilts, there's all different things. It just opened up a whole new world to me, and then it became my passion.
Deborah Barlow, a creative lady. She's got a number of award-winning pieces, including Weir Fishing, which won 2024 Best in Show at the National Juried Show in Edmonton. All right, Daryl, back to you. And more Canadians struggling when it comes to home ownership.
Yeah, as Jeremy Sharon shows us, making some significant changes and sacrifices to chase that dream of home ownership.
For most Canadians, it is a top priority. But buying a home, for many, can feel like an insurmountable challenge.
I think that I would definitely not expect to be buying a home in my late 20s, right? That's the thing that I'm mostly coming to grips with.
New numbers from Abacus data show home ownership is still a goal for most.
It's something that's still very important to Canadians, especially young Canadians and young families.
But to achieve that, Canadians are making great sacrifices. 2 in 5 cut back on spending, more than a quarter have downsized expectations, and 1 in 5 have delayed major life milestones.
It's beyond a housing issue. It's becoming a lifestyle challenge for a lot of people, and delaying starting a family, delaying getting married, delaying going to school and furthering their education. So there's a lot of things in which people are putting things on the back burner with that desire to own a home.
Many are willing to compromise too. Almost half of Canadians would buy a smaller home than they envisioned. 1 in 3 would co-buy with family or friends. A third would also buy an older home needing work. And 1 in 4 would take a longer commute.
It's not so much a forever home situation that you're looking for anymore. It's more so stepping stones.
There's this big gap between what people are earning, what they're consuming otherwise, and what housing costs.
The Carney government has pledged to double the pace of housing construction in the country to 500,000 homes a year in the next decade. But this industry expert says that's only addressing part of the problem.
Yes, we need to build more homes, and that's important, but we also need to regulate in order to ensure that the prices that these homes are more accessible to more people.
Now, experts point to a, quote, missing middle. There are smaller condo-style spaces at an entry-level price or larger detached homes at a price many can't afford, but not enough in the middle.
For the third time in 5 years, the Saskatoon Hilltops are Prairie Football Conference champions.
We put a lot of hard work in it, just like Regina has, and so we wanted to make sure that we were going to finish strong.
The PFC final. Boy, oh boy, the Saskatoon Hilltops beat the Regina Thunder 30-27 in overtime at Mosaic Stadium. The past 5 PFC title games have been between these two squads. Incredible to see. They came all the way back to win it, did the Hilltops. The Brandon Wheat Kings beat up on the Moose Jaw Warriors Sunday.
Stood against Pavlik, but got it right back. Serkan working it to Jacobson in the far corner, spun back to Misselbacher, scores!
The Warriors gave up 4 goals in the second, 3 more in the third, and an 8-4 loss to the Brandon Wheat Kings yesterday. Luke Mistelbacher, who scored that goal, had 3 on the night, 2 assists for the Wheat Kings. Moose Jaws won 4 of their last 10. Kayleen Swatz, when we get over to the Weather Center in Wascana Park, you're going to notice some smoke, maybe some flames. They are doing a controlled burn today, and the temperature is kind of good, or pretty okay for it. Low winds.
Well, low winds down towards the south. We are seeing some higher winds throughout some parts of the central zone, but yes, down towards the south, winds not going to be all too bad today. We still see that sun trying to make its way up. We're not really going to see that sun for about another 30 minutes or so, but if you want to get outside and see that sunrise, hey, it's coming up here. -2 now in Regina. We do have some winds coming in at 17 kilometers per hour, and a few more clouds have been making their way into the area since the last time we looked outside. Still some clear skies in Saskatoon to wake us up 1 degree right now, and some winds coming in at 22 kilometers per hour, but we did just mention that winds are going to be increasing this afternoon. Now, this is what we're expecting for those gusts. So areas around Saskatoon, Kindersley, North Battleford, and Prince Albert could be seeing them up to about 50 kilometers per hour. Areas down towards the south, not that strong today. The Futurecast showing that we are going to be seeing some snow in the province today, but it is mainly going to be concentrating up north, some poking through down into that central zone there between Saskatoon and Prince Albert, but then it's going to be going right back up, tracking north up to the top part of the province there into tomorrow morning, and then we're going to be seeing some of those clouds coming right back in for Wednesday, as well as some precipitation on the way for Saskatoon and Regina. It kind of curves perfectly likely to hit both of those major cities at once. Around 6 p.m. in the afternoon is when we're going to be seeing that on Wednesday as of right now. And some areas more north going to be seeing some more of that snow. Now, current temperatures showing Spiritwood at 3 degrees right now. Nipawin just dropped down to 1 degree. Hudson Bay at 3 degrees right now. Kindersley -3. 3 degrees in Moose Jaw and -1 in Assiniboia to wake us up. Later on this afternoon, we'll be seeing temperatures above the seasonal average. Still not warm per se, but definitely above the average. So Swift Current up to 10 degrees this afternoon. Moose Jaw up to 12 degrees. Yorkton up to 12 degrees and Estevan up to 12 degrees as well. The high for Regina today also expected to be 12 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud, dropping down to -1 overnight, 8 degrees tomorrow, and then 10 degrees on Wednesday with that rain on the way, dropping down to 5 for Thursday and Friday. In Saskatoon, 11 degrees today with that sunshine. Again, could be seeing some stronger winds though. 7 degrees tomorrow, 11 degrees with that rain on the way for Wednesday, dropping down to 8 degrees on Thursday with the mix of sun and cloud, and dropping down even more on Friday. We really start to see things cool off for the weekend. 4 degrees though on Friday with that mix of sun and cloud. Time now for a look at our rural forecast. We're seeing a high of 11 degrees in Watches today with that sunshine, 12 degrees in Outlook. A little bit more of that precipitation, though, in areas surrounding Meadow Lake and Lloydminster. Could be seeing a mix of snow and rain. As we turn our attention down towards the south, we're not seeing as much of that precipitation, and we are seeing some temperatures above the seasonal average still. So Assiniboia up to 12 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. Mainly cloudy conditions down in that southeast corner. Carlisle up to 11 degrees, and a little bit more sunshine in areas around Kenora up to 12 degrees. Now let's take a look at Paradise Hill, where internet plans up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel. We'll be reaching 4 degrees today, so cooler there. Also included in those areas that could be seeing some of those showers today, and winds up to about 45 kilometers per hour.
All right, let's head back out and find Mike Siona, who is interested in farming the sun this morning. Mike?
Yeah, no doubt. If you've been driving around on the west side of Saskatoon off of Circle Drive, you can't not have noticed this massive installation of solar panels here, which is going on and is almost complete. I'm here with Jose Cherubala of Saskatoon Light and Power. We've been talking about just the grandiose nature of this infrastructure that is being built here, but let's talk about the environmental impact, because that's really what this is about.
Absolutely. So, you know, the city of Saskatoon has set a very high standard for greenhouse gas reductions to essentially be net zero by 2050. And, you know, renewable energy is a great opportunity to actually achieve those targets. This project particularly helps reduce electricity-related emissions by about 19,000 tons over its 30-year life, which is the equivalent of removing about 140 cars each year from the road.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, those are great numbers, but put them into terms that I can understand, and that's exactly what you did there. And then the other side of that, I mean, that plays part and parcel with, you know, the ability to power 400 homes, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So again, clean energy, you know, about 400 homes, roughly the size of you know, a neighborhood the size of River Heights or the Willows. And yeah, it's all coming from the sun, like renewable.
I love that. Now we're watching the sunrise here, which is kind of cool to be at a solar farm at sunrise. It's beautiful. And then you guys are also, it's not just the sun stuff, but in terms of the landscaping here, the whole area is going to be used.
Exactly. So another component of this project is we are adding native grass and pollinator habitats to help improve biodiversity and also improve the visual appeal for the surrounding community. So this is, again, just to maximize the benefits coming out of the site. So it's solar as well as biodiversity.
I love that. Now, the project is close to being operational and online. A little later this morning, we'll find out the details on exactly when we might expect to see this fully functioning here in Saskatoon.
All right, lots going on there at that site. Mike, thanks for the info. We'll see you again in just a little while.
Cenovus Energy is further sweetening the deal to take over MEG Energy. MEG says Cenovus has modified its latest takeover offer to $30 a share. A special meeting of MEG shareholders remains scheduled for October 30th. And stock futures jumped this morning after U.S. and Chinese officials cooled tensions over the weekend. There's now optimism a trade deal can be reached between the two. Japan's Nikkei reached a new record high today, surpassing 50,000. Meanwhile, interest rate cuts are likely this week in both the U.S. and Canada, while the rest of the G7 looks on. The Bank of Japan, which is inching toward a rate hike, is expected to hold off, and officials with the European Central Bank have signaled there will be no further easing at the moment. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
You could say these creatures are rolling out the red carpet. Tens of millions of crabs have begun their annual migration on Christmas Island, turning the roads red. The island is off of Australia, and this happens every summer. Around 50 million, look at them go, move from their homes down to the beach to lay their eggs. Special crab bridges have been built to help the crabs get around tricky obstacles. I feel like somebody should number these, and you could have races. You could bet on this.
I feel like this is free supper.
Free supper, just
so cool.
Did you see the traffic sign that said caution red crab migration? Like, they have professionally made traffic signs made for this.
We see neat migration. Kayleen sees dinner.
Delicious dipped in butter.
Yum, yum, yum.
I love seafood.
Let's go over to our question of the day. Which board game is most likely to start a fight in your household? You're flipping the board game, you're storming out of the room, you're cussing a little bit. What's on the big board?
Oh, man.
A few answers so far. Monopoly, hands down, from Howard. That, I feel like, is the top most obvious answer, is Monopoly. That's the classic one, right? Has any family ever successfully made it through a Monopoly game without fighting?
I don't know, honestly. Somebody's always stealing a red 50 out of the thing, you know?
Yeah. Margie's saying sorry because I always win. We had another answer saying, although it's not technically a board game, but it's a family game, we're going to include it, Phil. Charades.
Yeah, that would start a tussle or two.
Yeah.
It's so obvious.
Yeah.
I was doing a bunny.
Michelle saying two games that I agree with. So Settlers of Catan, but then also Uno, but not just any Uno. Uno, Show 'em No Mercy, which I didn't really know was a thing, but the tagline says brutal, ruthless, and unapologetic.
Okay.
So I have to imagine that some good fights have stemmed from this one. We want to hear from you, though. Text your name and your answer to 10400. Standard message rates may apply. You can also scan that QR code on the screen. Let us know, what's the game that is always going to cause that fight in your house? We're going to share some more answers in about 1 hour.
Hello there, Jermaine Franklin with you inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Sunday. For that, we'll head to Foxborough for this one. Browns, Patriots, third quarter, Dylan Gabriel steps out the pocket and goes deep. But check out Jalen Hawkins. He comes up big, making an incredible one-handed catch for the interception. That's a second pick of the season, and it comes in style for Hawkins and the Pats. And he earns your must-see moment from Sunday. Tonight on TSN, Week 8 of the NFL season wraps up with Monday Night Football as the Commanders visit the Chiefs. It all starts at 5 p.m. Central across the network. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
Polls have closed across the province. The anxious wait begins.
30 years ago this week, Quebecers voted for the second time in a referendum on the future of Canada. The question, do you agree that Quebec should become sovereign? The choice, yes or no. After mass rallies, turnout was high with more than 93% of registered voters casting a ballot. Watching the results was a nail-biter.
We'll have a very, very long night, so I'm telling to our viewers, go and get a beer because it's going to be very long.
In the end, 49.42% of voters said yes, and 50.58% said no to sovereignty. A razor-thin win for keeping Canada together.
Each told Quebecers they must accept a no victory calmly and with dignity, no matter how slim.
Board's ready. It's time for your Monday morning mystery. Today, I am told it is an animal. Let's play. Clue number 1, they are considered lucky in some cultures.
Oh, okay.
Clue 2, while many breeds can have black coats, the Bombay is the only true black breed. Kayleen's ruffling her brow. Clue number 3. Famous ones include Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Binks from Hocus Pocus, and Luna from Sailor Moon. Okay, well, I think that the color probably matters on this.
Producer Nathan, I can already hear, is getting angry because the third clue always gives it away.
Irrationally angry. Jeremy, what do you got on your board there? I want you to cheat.
Yes. Black cats, indeed.
Black cats. You just put cats. The answer is black cats because apparently it is National Black Cat Day.
Yeah.
They are the lowest adopted rate at the Humane Society. The people have
but they're so sweet. Black cats are the sweetest.
So if you see a black cat at the Regina Humane Society or the SPS, go and adopt one today.
Wardrobe consideration by Colin O'Brien Man's Shop, defining contemporary style for over 20 years.
It's time for a look at your school day forecast, brought to you by CAA School Safety Patrol, working together to keep our school zone safe. If you're heading out in Regina to grab the bus, we're sitting at -2. 1 degree in Saskatoon, though. By lunchtime in both cities, we'll be sitting at that same temperature of 10 degrees. Just a little bit more of those winds being felt in Saskatoon, though. And by final bell in Regina, sitting at that daytime high of 12 degrees with winds coming in up to about 25 kilometers per hour. And by final bell in Saskatoon, 11 degrees. That is the expected daytime high. Not as many clouds, but seeing some winds a little bit stronger, up to about 40 kilometers per hour. As we go to break, here's a look at those gas prices in Regina. The common cost to fill up, $131.9 this morning, but you can find regular fuel for as low as $116.9. In Saskatoon, the common cost to fill up, $132.9, but you might find the lowest at $121.9. Taking a look at the farm markets now, the street price of canola at $560.92 per ton, and the futures price at $623.10 per ton. Amber Durham wheat this morning at $282.27 per ton, and red spring wheat at $244.21 per ton. And the Canadian dollar beginning the day trading at 71.36 cents US. After the break, food insecurity is rising across the province. What a new report says about the issue. Stay with us.
Good morning. Welcome to your morning. It is 7:30. The latest change coming in the wake of a new rule requiring Canadians visiting America for more than a month to register with the U.S. government. It came into effect last spring, but as Alison Bamford reports, snowbirds now heading south for the winter are feeling the impact of the change for the very first time.
Every fall, Brian Rose drives south to escape Canada's winters. He's spending 6 months in Florida like he has for the last 22 years.
U.S. Customs has always been good to us. It's a couple of quick questions, couple quick answers.
But this year, the snowbird was prepared for a lengthier process. He filled out documents ahead of time, wanting to comply with new rules issued this spring. The Alien Registration Act requires Canadians to register if they enter the U.S. by land and plan to stay for 30 days or longer.
We got to the border here 2 days ago, and the guy says, all you need is a passport.
We've been hearing about a lot of inconsistencies.
Depending on the border officer and crossing, experts say some snowbirds might have to register at the port of entry, which could require their fingerprints, photograph, and a $30 fee. If they aren't asked to do that, travelers will have 30 days to register with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services.
There's no cost to do it. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes to register online. You don't have to be fingerprinted. You don't have any biometrics. You get a receipt, and you carry that with you when you're in the U.S.
One U.S. immigration lawyer says getting fingerprinted at the border has always been a possibility, but it's rare, and snowbirds should still plan to cross the border as they normally would.
Treat crossing the border almost like a job interview. You're going to be respectful, you're going to be prepared, you're going to say please, you're going to say thank you, and you're going to make it easy for that officer.
Snowbird advisory groups say they haven't heard of anyone being refused entry as a result of the new process, and with time, they're hopeful that consistency will improve at the border. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Concerning new report from Food Banks Canada says increased levels of poverty and hunger are becoming normalized in this country. Food Banks visits rising across Canada, reaching nearly 2.2 million monthly visits. That's double from 2019. Nearly 1 in 5 people who rely on food banks have jobs. That's up 12% from 6 years ago. 1/3 of food bank users are children, representing 712,000 monthly visits. And 70% of food bank users live in market rental housing. Food Banks Canada is calling for legislative changes to tackle the crisis, including modernizing the EI system and making life more affordable by investing in housing. Mosaic Stadium Brand Centre, it's common for arenas and stadiums to sell their naming rights, but for a Saskatchewan town, it's a new thing. They're trying it for the very first time. It's being called the Canadian First. The small town of Duck Lake, Saskatchewan, putting its own name up for sale. Stacey Hine reports.
Duck Lake, a historic town home to just under 600 people. It's located about 90 kilometers northeast of Saskatoon. And for the right price, it can be renamed. The town is inviting businesses to bid for its naming rights. Mayor Jason Anderson says he got the idea after seeing a stadium in the U.S. sell its name for millions.
So I thought, you know what? Why not? Let's give it a try with the town's name.
Anderson says the goal is to breathe new life into the community by funding much-needed upgrades to roads and other infrastructure. Part of his sales pitch, it puts a corporate name literally on the map.
Their name would be on GPS. Their name would be on the weather network. Their name would be on all the signage and on all the maps. And that's not just in Saskatchewan, that's worldwide.
But there's mixed reaction among locals.
I'm so shocked. I didn't think they'd be renaming Duck Lake.
Any publicity is good publicity. As long as it promotes our town, I think it's a good thing.
The owner of the local general store says it could help the town, which in turn boosts business.
I think it's okay. That's growing my store and my town.
Duck Lake is widely known as the site of a significant battle during the Northwest Resistance in 1885. Brody Falcon says the town's name represents its history.
I'm a little bit annoyed about it. Because with the history of the name of Duck Lake, it is not just a name.
In a statement to CTV News, the provincial government says council can request a name change, but ministerial approval is required. The town is accepting tenders until March 31st. Then residents will vote on whether or not to rename the town at their next public meeting in April. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Duck Lake.
The Toronto Blue Jays are in Los Angeles for tonight's pivotal Game 3 matchup of the World Series.
We're trying to approach this as, 7, if it gets to that point, 7 one-game series. So at this point, it's going to be all hands on deck.
The Jays bats will look to bounce back tonight after being limited to only 1 run in 2 on Saturday. Bo Bichette will be back in the lineup playing second base. The Jays have won 3 of 5 on the road during the playoffs. They need to win at least 1 in LA to bring the series back to Toronto. You'll notice some smoke and some flame around the Wascana Park area. They're doing a controlled burn today. Just want to let everybody out there know. Keelan Sawatsky, the conditions today seem okay for doing that sort of thing.
Conditions okay in Regina for that. In Saskatoon, it probably would not be as likely to be happening today because we are seeing some stronger winds through parts of the central zones today. Down towards the south, things are looking pretty good though. -2 to wake us up in Regina. We're now starting to see that sun come up. A few clouds in the sky. You can't really see that on our camera there. This morning view is brought to you by recyclemyelectronics.ca, where you can find a drop-off location near you. We have those winds right now coming in at 17 kilometers per hour in Regina and 22 kilometers per hour in Saskatoon. 1 degree to wake us up in Saskatoon as well with those clear skies. Now here's a look at the futurecast where we can see some precipitation making its way into the province later on into the afternoon. Mainly going to be impacting areas way up north. Could be seeing it through some parts of the central zone later into the evening in areas between Saskatoon and Prince Albert there. And then it's going to go right back up to the northern zone there. As we look forward, though, we're not really talking about too much on Tuesday, but on Wednesday is when we're going to be seeing some more amounts of those clouds and some more precipitation on the way. That includes rain and snow. Snow mainly up north. And that rain, it curves perfectly to be impacting Saskatoon and Regina right at that same time, just past 6 o'clock in the afternoon right now on our radar. Now, the temperature today for Regina going to be 12 degrees, 11 degrees expected for Saskatoon. And as you can see, that is higher than the average for both cities. The average for this time of year is about 7.8 degrees in Regina and 6.9 for Saskatoon. Last year, we reached 15 degrees, though, so we are going to be cooler today than on this day last year in Regina. Last year in Saskatoon, it was 12 degrees, and we'll be right below that today at 11 degrees. The record for Regina back in the year 1938 was 22.8, and in 1944 in Saskatoon, that was 21.1. Your forecast for temperatures around the province now: Prince Albert up to 9 degrees today. Moose Jaw expecting that high of 13 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud in Weyburn, and 12 degrees in Estevan. Our 5-day forecast showing that temperatures in Regina will be dropping off as of Thursday. So from that rainy day on Wednesday, we will still be seeing a nice temperature of 10 degrees, but then cutting that in half for Thursday with that cloud cover. 5 degrees on Friday, 8 degrees on Saturday, and 9 degrees on Sunday. In Saskatoon, we're seeing a temperature of about 11 degrees on Wednesday with that rain, dropping down to 8 degrees on Thursday. And then again, being cut in half for Friday, 4 degrees with that mix of sun and cloud. Some more rain on the way for Saturday, up to 7 degrees, and 8 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud on Sunday.
Here's what's happening in our community. The Makers Market and Trade Show is on Saturday, November 1st at 10 a.m. It's being held at the Westminster United Church on the 3000 block of 13th Avenue. And for more information, you can call 306-539-7718. The Mooseltoe Artist Spotlight is on Saturday, November 1st at 10 a.m. It's being held on the 200 block of Athabasca Street in Moose Jaw, and there is a free raffle entry every hour. The Glenavon Fall Supper is on Sunday, November 2nd at 4:30 p.m. It's being held at the Glenavon Hall, and adults cost $20 to get in, and 12 and under are $10. If you'd like your event shown here, you can email us at reginacommunity@bellmedia.ca with at least 2 weeks' notice.
The Provincial Capital Commission will be conducting a prescribed burn this week. Sarah Rummold is the ecologist there, and she joins us this morning to talk about what we're going to see and why this is so necessary. So, Sarah, what are we going to see in the park over the next few days?
So over the next few days, we have a prescribed burn that's planned for 2 of our islands. So east of Broad Street Bridge, we have Pelican Island and North Goose Island that are targeted for our first prescribed fire.
So why exactly is this done, and has something like this been done before in Regina?
This is a new resource management tool for Wascana Centre. We've never done prescribed burns in the centre before, but it's not a new tool. Provincial parks have been doing burns in their parks in several areas for over 20 years, and some agencies have even been doing them for over 30 years. So while it is a new tool for us, we have also been working towards utilizing this tool for over 7 years. We've been gathering data, doing the necessary courses and training, so we are ready for this burn this week.
What is the end goal of the burn?
So the end goal for us, it can vary depending on how you're using, burns. For us, we're using it to reduce our invasive weed population. We're using it to, there's woody encroachment, so we have trees and shrubs that are kind of taking over some of our more grassy, lower vegetation areas. So you can use it to kind of remove that encroachment. You can use it, in our case, we're also using it to enhance those areas. So they were once prime nesting habitat for lots of waterfowl. Right now, they're mostly weeds and a lot of shrubs and trees, which is great, but not the ideal function.
Well, let's talk more about that wildlife, because somebody watching this right now is probably inevitably asking, what about the animals? Should there be concern there?
For us, there shouldn't be really any concern for wildlife. So typically burns are done either in the spring or the fall. They can be done in the summer and the winter, but it's not very common. Spring and fall is the usual one because you can actually control a lot more of the conditions that way and have a safer, slower fire. Since we're doing it in the fall, a lot of these areas that have that we would be burning are prime nesting habitat. The birds are already finished their nesting. So they've already migrated. We've been surveying and monitoring these areas so we can ensure ensure that the wildlife there would be minimal to no risk for them. So then it just becomes an issue of smoke management. So that one, if we maintain those conditions for a safe burn, then we can ensure that the smoke will plume high up and not impact the neighboring areas.
Well, that's good to know, certainly. Once it's all said and done, how long until the area is thriving again?
So since we're doing it in the fall, it all kind of depends on the weather conditions. If you were to do it in the spring, you could see green grass coming up in a week. So say, I mean, it's up to you. If you tell us we have warm weather coming up, then maybe we'll see some green grass.
I'll try my best.
But usually in the fall, you might see some regrowth right away. But in the spring, you'll notice fresh, ideally the preferred vegetation coming up. But then in some cases, you can trigger the seeds that are in the seed bank, and you can have more weeds or different grasses coming up as a result of that fire. So then it just becomes part of your monitoring tool, and then you can decide whether you do another burn again the following year, or if you do some weed management and then reseed.
All right, some very interesting and useful information. Sarah Rummold joining us this morning from the Provincial Capital Commission.
Here's what's happening in our community. The craft sale is on Saturday, November 1st at 10 a.m. It's being held at Our Lady of Peace Parish on the 400 block of Broad Street. And for more information, you can call 306-543-2320. The Edenwold Trade Show is on Saturday, November 1st at 10 a.m. It's being held at the Edenwold Community Hall on the 200 block of Brewer Street, and admission is free. The Harvest Dance is on Saturday, November 1st at 5:30 p.m. It's being held at St. Basil's Parish Centre on the 1700 block of Toronto Street. And for more information, you can call 306-545-9111. If you'd like your event shown here, you can email us at reginacommunity@bellmedia.ca with at least 2 weeks' notice.
Studio consideration provided by Father's Furniture, specializing in quality Canadian-made furniture.
All right, let's check back in with Janella Pye, who looks to be having a very gourd time at Balgonie's Terra Nova Terror House this morning.
Okay, well, as promised, our morning here just keeps getting spookier. We have made it inside Terra Nova Terror now. Julia, walk us through what's about to happen.
Well, there's 3 rounds to this. First, you went through body. Body just means you know that nothing's going to hurt you in here, which deactivates your fear. Round 2 was psyche of the mind, that the spirits know they can't hurt you, and you saw something else. Now we're in level 3, which means spirit. Once you connect to spirit, you get to connect to ours. So as we travel through the chair that was your obstacle and mission to find, we have now found. Let's see what the spirits have to offer.
All right, let's take a walk through here. Oh, I'm nervous. A little nervous. Okay. All right, I'm scared. I wish Ashley was going first.
Are you ready?
Ooh. Come on through, Ashley. All right, Julia, what's in front of us here?
Well, this is actually our most haunted room. So the first night, the spirit that you're looking at, she lost her batteries and her power, and she started twitching, and her eyes had changed from blue to red to nothing. And there was a ghost in here saying, did you get to see everything? So the first night, we actually, the live actors, the psyche of the mind, interfered with their thoughts. And so we didn't lose them physically, but we lost them with fear. We had to tap into that and help them release that. But every artifact in this room is actually haunted.
I don't think I like that.
Most people end up picking this space to come back and video because they always see either an orb or something flying by.
Ooh, yeah. I can feel it. It's in the air.
Yeah, it's colder in here. And it's also, when the last round, we ask people to film. And so each time somebody comes in, they either see an orb or something that's undeniable, never been there before.
Wow.
Okay, Julia, we are out of time this go around, but it's not over yet. We are going to see you in the next hour. We're going to finish walking through here. Hopefully we survive. Hopefully. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Julia. We will be right back.
It's October 27th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We'll start with some belated wishes from over the weekend. On Saturday, Pat marked his 50th birthday. We hope it was a great one. Enjoy being 1 year older. Happy birthday to Sawyer, who turned 12 years old yesterday. We hope it was an awesome day with love from your family and friends. Also celebrating yesterday was Claire. Happy birthday to you. We hope you had a great day filled with love and happiness. Belated birthday wishes also going out to Brendan. He has love coming his way from Sheena, Claire, and Nora. Happy birthday. Yesterday was also the 57th wedding anniversary for David and Diane, an amazing couple. Paul and Phyllis sent in this photo and said they're wishing you all the love in the world. Happy birthday to Amelia today. She's turning 13 years old. Lots of love from your mom, dad, Alice, and the rest of your family. Also celebrating today is Luella. Happy birthday to you with lots of love from Lori and Eric. Turning 75 years old today is Dawn. Happy birthday to you. We hope you have a wonderful day celebrating from Jeff and Mary. Happy 90th birthday to Anne. We hope you have a wonderful day celebrating as well. Your family says that they love you so much. Enjoy your day. And finally, we didn't get a name for this one, but this photo came into our inbox to say happy birthday to their grandma. Love your girls, Nolan and AJ. If you have any celebrations coming up, send us your milestones to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca, or you can scan that QR code on your screen. Please make sure you send those in at least 1 day in advance.
What are we talking about on the radio today, Chase?
Well, everyone's asking how many more trips we have to give away for that Jamaica holiday with sandals, and we have this week and next week. So 10 trips left to go here. 8 o'clock will be your next code word of the day, and don't worry, we spell it out. And also, it was almost disastrous this morning because the person who puts in the code words, who makes all of these for the station, they spelt it wrong initially, so we have to go into the back end and fix it. So a little bit of a tricky word. It's coming up at 8 o'clock though, and we're 50% sure that we might have the right spelling now too, but we'll give you that at 8 o'clock, and then hopefully you're getting a call shortly thereafter, and you're off to Jamaica this winter.
Man the Movie has beaten a biopic about the boss and a horror sequel to win the top spot at the North American box office. The big screen adaptation of the popular anime earned $17.25 million in the U.S. and Canadian theaters this weekend, while Black Phone 2 fell to the number 2 spot with just $13 million.
Guess who just spent the last half hour with the coolest guy in school?
In a close third, the rom-com Regretting You earned $12 million, beating out Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, the first biopic about the rock legend, which earned just $9 million. Jack Skellington, Sally Zero, and many other beloved characters from Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas are on display this spooky season at the New York Botanical Gardens. The immersive walk-through adventure, which runs through the end of November, transports visitors to the magical world of Halloween and Christmas towns with songs and video projections. Sydney Sweeney has taken on the role of Christy Martin, a pioneer for women's boxing in the 1990s, who was nearly killed by her husband and boxing coach after years of domestic abuse. Sweeney said she hopes Martin's story can teach audiences valuable lessons about how to support abuse victims.
One of the biggest things we talk about on set is to be Christy strong, and I really hope that she inspires other people to be as strong as she was.
And happy birthday, John Cleese. The English actor, writer, producer, and co-founder of the Monty Python comedy troupe is 86. That's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Allison Cossack.
Time for our sidebar. Here's a welcome all siblings want to come home to.
Sissy are going to be here soon.
Nora's so excited to see the brothers and sisters come home. So excited every day.
I was never that excited to see my siblings.
No.
No.
Are you now?
No, even though I see them like once every few months, every time I see them, I'm like, you're okay.
Chelsea's coming. Yay!
Yay! My favorite.
All right. What else you got for us?
All right, well, some people like to take simple tasks and make them a little harder to do just for fun.
This is what Jeremy does on the weekend, I'm sure of it.
Yep. Correct.
I can see it.
Oh.
Hey, third time's the charm, right? That's what they say.
It's got Mike and Blair flanking him on the sides, trying to get those shorts on.
I can't get that high, though.
No?
And if you miss, it's like the wood chips. Oh, that hurts.
That's not the part of the miss I'm worried about. That part's the part I'm worried about. Time out. We're back after this. It's Monday, October 27th.
We stand ready to sit down with the United States, myself with the President, my colleagues with their colleagues, when the U.S. is ready to sit down.
While there has been no thawing of the frosty relationship with President Trump in the wake of the Ontario anti-tariff ad, Prime Minister Mark Carney says he does plan to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping at this week's APEC forum.
Starting pitching is going to be important for both sides for sure, and guys that can throw multiple innings are going to be important in these next 3 days.
Looking to bounce back after getting a split at home, the Toronto Blue Jays in LA tonight for Game 3 of the World Series.
We put a lot of hard work in it, just like Regina has, and so we wanted to make sure that we were going to finish strong.
Sarge back on top. The Saskatoon Hilltops PFC champions. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Good morning. We hope you had a great weekend and you're starting your work week rested.
Hello to the Rams fans that said, get back to work. Like I don't deserve a day off, everyone.
Well, a week off.
A week off. I was parenting two young, tiny...
Yeah, that's not really a week off.
Tiny humans already in costumes.
Yes, I did. Well, I put her in a little bear costume because how could I not? The little bear costume walking around the park yesterday. Oh, it was so cute.
Still trying to figure out what Daria might be. Maybe Wonder Woman. We'll find out. We'll see. Get ready to share your costumes, by the way. We're going to ask for those in the coming days. News this morning. Prime Minister Mark Carney, speaking with reporters in Malaysia at the ASEAN summit this morning, says despite the U.S. halting trade talks, Canada is still ready to talk.
The government of Canada stands ready to build on the progress that we had been making in our negotiations, our discussions with our American counterparts. It is the sole responsibility of the government of Canada to have those discussions.
This comes after U.S. President Trump told reporters he won't be meeting with Carney for, quote, a long time. Trump cut off trade talks over that anti-tariff TV ad in Ontario that they've been running in American markets. President Trump then threatened an additional 10% tariff top-up because the ad wasn't pulled fast enough. Carney and Trump are both at the ASEAN summit on Sunday, did not cross paths. Carney says he's been busy in Asia, positioning Canada as a great place to invest and trade with. Now let's talk about that ad. The Ontario government says it is pausing the ad campaign today to talk trade.
High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars.
So there's part of it. Ontario's Premier Doug Ford says the campaign, which cost about $75 million, achieved its goal of reaching U.S. audiences at the highest levels. Ottawa's continuing to talk there. Canada's auto sector is facing some of what experts say is an existential threat thanks to the trade war. The number of cars produced in Canada has already dropped by more than 50% in the last 2 decades. Colton Prale reports.
We don't want your cars, in all due respect. They're losing a lot of companies in Canada. He wants to make cars, we want to make cars, and we're in competition.
Donald Trump has been very clear. Vehicle manufacturing in Canada needs to come second to American production. Now, this Canadian business leader says Canada needs to consider cutting its losses.
There are a lot of jobs at stake in the auto industry. They're not coming after our parts sector, they're coming after our cars.
Canada's auto sector took a pair of heavy hits in October October. Tuesday, General Motors announced it's ending production of its electric parcel van at the plant in Ingersoll, Ontario. The move came days after Stellantis announced planned production of the Jeep Compass in Brampton would happen in Illinois instead.
Making the vehicles is, pound for pound about twice as valuable as making most parts.
Experts call Trump's policies an existential threat to the industry, but warn they'll take time to come into full effect.
Putting up a new automotive assembly plant can cost anywhere from $5 to $6 billion and take anywhere from 7 to 8 years.
Meanwhile, American auto giants announced massive windfalls this week after new White House subsidies for U.S.-produced vehicles.
The changes in policy, the proclamation that happened last Friday, gave us $1 billion of benefit.
Detroit's big three automakers make up 20% of the roughly 700,000 light vehicles made in Canada in the first half of 2025. This week, Ottawa punished GM and Stellantis for decreased Canadian production by lowering the number of vehicles they can import into the country tariff-free. This former auto exec says those measures should instead focus on boosting Canadian production from non-American automakers.
I think as we move forward and look at, what's the industry of the future, you want to put as many incentives in place that don't cost taxpayers money.
Meanwhile, Ford says it still plans to build new Super Duty pickups at its Oakville plant in 2026, even after Donald Trump announced new tariffs on trucks.
And in the meantime, let's go to Saskatoon and talk about fires. Jeremy Dodge.
Thank you, Daryl. Yeah, Saskatoon emergency crews responding to a residential fire. This was shortly before 4 o'clock Saturday. The source was a basement fire in a home on the 100 block of 7th Street East. All occupants safely got out prior to the arrival of the fire department. However, one pet, a cat, found dead in the aftermath. The Saskatoon Quilters Guild hosted their biannual quilt extravaganza over the weekend. The show and sale is an opportunity for quilters from across Saskatoon to showcase their skills and connect with other quilters from across the country. A series of educational sessions were also held throughout the 2 days, and the event always has a featured quilter. This year, Deborah Barlow holds that title.
I've started out doing traditional quilts, and I used to just do scrap quilts, and then I found out that there was a guild in the city. I joined the guild, and I learned that there are art quilts, there's all different things. It just opened up a whole new world to me, and then it became my passion.
Deborah Barlow has a number of award-winning pieces, including this Weir Fishing, it's called. That won 2024 Best in Show at the National Juried Show in Edmonton last year. Daryl, an update over that heist at the Louvre last week?
Everyone's talking about this one. 2 suspects are in custody in connection with last week's theft of crown jewels. Aaron Katersky with the latest.
This morning, more than a week after a brazen daylight heist at the Louvre, 2 alleged thieves are in custody on suspicion they were half of the quartet that used power tools and a mechanical ladder to steal more than $100 million worth of France's crown jewels in just 7 minutes. Overnight, police raiding the homes of the suspects, one arrested at Charles de Gaulle Airport while preparing to travel to Algeria, the other in a Paris suburb and believed to be destined for Mali, West Africa. Both men are French nationals who were known to police, and authorities say they've been linked to prior robberies. Sources tell ABC News investigators began tracking at least one of the suspects last week after extracting DNA from a helmet left outside the museum. The masked thieves dressed as construction workers. Video captured them using the mechanical ladder, cutting through the window of the gilded Apollo Gallery, then stealing jewel-encrusted crowns, necklaces, and earrings, some of which belonged to Emperor Napoleon and his wife. Video taken by Louvre security being used in the investigation, capturing their escape, jumping from the lift before making their getaway on scooters. Alexander Bocker is the owner of the German company that makes the mobile freight elevator used by the thieves.
My wife and I were
her in our living room, and she was on a German newspaper page, and suddenly she said, "Wow, Alex, is this one of our inclined hoists?"
He sold one to a French company in 2020 that was reported stolen days before the heist, which Bakker is now using in a tongue-in-cheek marketing campaign.
Now, a Bakker lift is part of such a world event, and my wife is also our head of marketing, and so we were like starting making some things up, like even professional criminals rely on the best machines, or a Bakker Agilo. We now edited a little bit in the English version, so if you are in a hurry, the Bakker Agilo might be the right lift for you.
The robbery at the world's most famous museum has brought up uncomfortable questions around its security. Sources tell ABC News investigators believe the robbers had help from the inside, but are still working to develop evidence.
In this case, there is some evidence that there could be someone who had made a call or gotten a call from one of the suspects. We don't know, but I'm sure they'll find out, and we'll see how that works out.
After such an embarrassing crime, these first arrests represent a breakthrough, but the investigation is far from over. 2 more suspects are believed to be at large. The stolen jewels have not been recovered. As you can see, though, the crowds here have returned as if none of this has ever happened. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, Paris.
The Toronto Blue Jays are in Los Angeles for tonight's pivotal Game 3 of the World Series.
We're trying to approach this as, 7, if it gets to that point, 7 one-game series. So at this point, it's going to be all hands on deck.
The Jays bats will look to bounce back after being limited to only 1 run in 2 on Saturday. Bo Bichette will be back in the lineup playing second base. Jays have won 3 of 5 on the road during the playoffs. They'll need to win 1 more if they want to bring the series back to Toronto. First pitch, 6 o'clock our time on Sportsnet. Let's get over to the Weather Center. Kayleen Sawatsky, what can we expect today?
Well, we are seeing temperatures above the seasonal average today, so that's nice to see. It's still not warm considering the time of year, so we're seeing highs of about 12 degrees in Regina today, about 11 degrees expected for Saskatoon. Right now, though, not anywhere close to that. We're at -3 to wake us up in the Queen City. A mix of sun and cloud and some winds coming in at 13 kilometers per hour. Winds a little bit stronger through the central zones later on this afternoon. Sitting at 0 degrees right now, so that's been fluctuating. We actually just dropped down, and a mix of sun and cloud also to wake us up in Saskatoon. Now, we just mentioned those wind gusts going to be going up in some parts of the central zone today, so you can see that on your screen there, up to about 50 kilometers per hour in areas surrounding Kindersley and North Battleford, up to about 45 kilometers per hour in Saskatoon, not reaching that anywhere near as strong of those wind gusts in the south today. Futurecast showing that snow that's on the way later on this afternoon. It's mainly going to be affecting areas way up north, but there are some places in the central zone that could be seeing some of that snow as well. Areas between Saskatoon and Prince Albert could be seeing a little bit of it as we head into those overnight hours. And then as we head into later into Tuesday, we're just going to be seeing it way up north. It's really on Wednesday that we see a larger system making its way in from Alberta. Around 6 o'clock in the afternoon, you can see it does this perfect little curve to be impacting Saskatoon and Regina at around the same time with that rain. Not expecting to be seeing as much of that snow that we're seeing up in the north, though. Current temperatures showing that Spiritwood is at 3 degrees, Nipawin at 1 degree right now. Hudson Bay waking up to a temperature of 2 degrees, -5 in Weyburn, so definitely a cool start to the day there. 0 degrees in Yorkton and Estevan right now. Later on in the afternoon, we're going to be seeing some nice temperatures above that average. 13 degrees for Weyburn, 12 degrees for Estevan, 12 degrees for Yorkton. Cooler through the Battlefords, though, with that wind. So right now we're projecting a high of about 8 degrees there and 10 degrees for Prince Albert. The 5-day forecast showing that rain that's on the way for Wednesday. We're going to be seeing some nice temperatures until then, and then we're going to be dropping down below the average on Thursday while those clouds continue to affect the area. And in Saskatoon, seeing that high of 11 degrees continue on through Wednesday afternoon with that rain, dropping down to 8 degrees on Thursday, and then really dropping on Friday down to about 4 degrees with that mix of sun and cloud.
October 27th of 2011, Canada won its first gold medal in soccer at the Pan Am Games. October 27th, 2011, the Conservative government brought in legislation to take the number of seats in the House of Commons from 308 to 338. And on this day in 1995, more than 40,000 people gather at Montreal's Place de Canada for the rally 3 days before the second Quebec referendum.
In case you missed it, this dish, now it may look simple, but people who love it take it very seriously. They have the World Raclette Championships in Switzerland over the weekend. Now, it's made by melting a wheel of cheese and scraping it onto a plate. Sometimes served with potatoes. Now, the cheeses were judged on appearance, texture, and taste. Oh, man, I love cheese.
I would like to try this.
We do raclette at our house, but it's not exclusively cheese. It's a cooking plate, basically, and you melt cheese on the stuff. But
all right. Well, I mean, I can get behind this, the melted cheese and with some potatoes or something. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. A little bit of steak or some chicken. Question of the day, we're still asking you what board game is most likely to start a fight in your household?
No surprise on this one. Today, it's Monopoly. It's the runaway favorite. It gets everybody just a little bit fired up. Debbie said Monopoly, and then Michelle agreeing with me when I said Monopoly Deal earlier. If you hadn't heard of it, it's like Monopoly. It's the same concept. It's just faster. It's just a card game. You don't have to deal with all the pieces. But it gets really competitive in my house. Diana wrote in and said the farming game. I'm not sure what that is, but she said she bought it on a trip to Washington State a few years ago. It's a favorite, but it definitely causes some disputes. I'm going to have to look into that one. A few answers for Uno, but specifically No Mercy. Which I hadn't heard of. But then after we talked about Michelle's answer last hour, we had this one come in on our text line saying, our family played Uno No Mercy last Christmas. We laughed so hard. It's brutal, but so much fun. So definitely something maybe to go in the Christmas stockings this year, something like that. Yeah, Monopoly hands down for Howard. Margie saying sorry because she always wins. And then we have Phil in Saskatchewan saying charades. Not a card game, but definitely still a family game that causes a lot of disputes for sure. Thank you so much for your answers for today's question of the day.
Overnight, the Sports World Morning, former New York Jets center Nick Mangold. He's not going to be caught. Touchdown, New York Jets. The Jets announcing the father of 4 died from complications of kidney disease on Saturday night. Less than 2 weeks ago, Mangold, who was diagnosed in 2006 with a genetic defect that led to chronic kidney disease, turned to social media for help, writing, "After a rough summer, I'm undergoing dialysis as we look for a kidney transplant. Unfortunately, I do not have any family able to donate at this time, so this is why I'm reaching out to you." Mangold's former coach, Rex Ryan, emotional on Sunday, remembering the man he led for years.
And he wanted to play for me. That's what I remember about this kid. He was awesome and just way too young. I feel so bad for his wife and family.
Teammate Willie Colon also choking up.
I wanted to play with Nick Mangold, and there was times when emotionally I was a wreck, and he was had my back. So I love you, Nick.
Mangold is being remembered by many as a loving family man.
Former New York Jets player Nick Mangold.
And he was a longtime friend to us at GMA, always game to judge our tailgate challenges.
I'm a barbecue man. 13, sandwich my favorite number, American cheese.
And he was a lifelong Jet.
I want to just retire as Nick Mangold, the football player. I want to retire as Nick Mangold, the New York Jet.
Nick Mangold was 41 years old.
Will Reeve, ABC News, New York. Health Report, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Blue Cross, protecting your health since 1946.
All right, let's go out and check in with Mike Siona one final time, who is shedding some light on something that a lot of people in Saskatoon have been wondering about.
Well, Jose Charuvalat has been showing us everything you might want to know about the new solar farm here in Saskatoon. It's truly an impressive bit of infrastructure here. And a lot of people, the last couple of weeks, this site's looked very different. People are asking, oh, what's going on down here? We've been finding out, when do we expect this thing to be operational?
Yeah, so we're currently at about 50% of construction, and we're expecting this site to be ready by the first quarter of 2026.
Fantastic. I love that. Now, the other thing we didn't talk about was how each of these modules, I've figured out what they're called now, actually work. And it doesn't matter front side, back side.
That's right. Yeah. So essentially with any solar system, the solar panels themselves have solar cells, which are able to convert that light energy to electrical energy in the form of direct current, which is similar to the energy that you find in your batteries. Now, by using inverters, we're able to convert that DC energy to alternating current, which is what we would typically use in our homes. And so essentially that converted energy is then stepped up to a distribution voltage for safe and efficient distribution to our customers.
Amazing. From the sun to your light switch, just like that. As far as there's a lot of process to it here. And my favorite part, I think, is that once the snow does come, it can reflect off the snow and hit the backside of the panels. Just an absolutely incredible and insightful morning. Thank you very much, Jose, for teaching us about it. Keep an eye on it. You can't miss it if you're cruising on the west side of Circle Drive.
One thing to remember when we're approaching Halloween is that it's important to stay as safe as possible when you're out trick-or-treating. Here's a little bit more information on how you can do that, wearing a costume, and then things you need to look for when it comes to candy and treats. So what is going on with the costume, and why could that be a safety hazard?
Well, Jasmine, first, thanks very much for visiting with us today. I know it's hilarious, but we've taken part of our Terry the Trauma costume to emphasize to folks that when you're wearing something like this, first of all, it's really hard for me to hear you. I can only see probably out here. I can't see anything down here, especially in this costume. And my voice is muffled. So let me just get this prop off. There we go. So when you're wearing something, we want folks that are out trick-or-treating to wear something that is safe, it's bright, and it's light. So something that, if it's cold out, and we're in that time of year where the weather's nice and it's warm and it's cold, so something that is easily for someone to put over, so they can put it over their fleece, over their coat, something like that. Something that's bright, so it's seen, so as they're trick-or-treating, wandering the neighborhoods and visiting houses, that they can be seen by the traffic. But also so that they can see, because this sort of type of a costume has very limited vision. And so if we're talking a costume, maybe it's something like just a simple hockey helmet. Now this one's too small for me, but something like that. So I have good vision, I can see. If the costume is not hockey related or football or some sort of sport like that, just try to make sure you can see, you can hear, and it's easy for you to navigate. The last thing too is that trip hazards. Make sure that first of all for the costume, it's something that I'm not going to trip over. So a long dress or a long witch's costume or wherever it is. But at homes where maybe people have to get up a few stairs or up the front steps, that sort of thing to get to your house, do us the trick-or-treaters a favor. Get rid of any sort of leaves or anything out there that's hazardous for you. Obviously, treats are going to be mindful in everybody's mind. That's what we're out there to do. And I just want to emphasize that if you are the type of person that's going to give away a homemade treat, maybe you're a great baker or like I've got an apple here today, people receiving that, unless they know it came from Aunt Martha or the neighbor next door, types of treats, sadly, I would just toss them away. So for the people that are giving them, if you know that your grandchildren or the neighbor's kids are coming and you want to give them the special treat and they know it's coming from you, that's okay. But don't give away something homemade. I know you want to go to a lot of effort to do that, but people receiving this, just be safe because we don't know where this has been.
Your Saskatchewan Roughriders coming off a 27-21 loss at the hands of the BC Lions this weekend to close out what can only be described as a successful regular season, which saw the team clinch its first division final home game in 6 years. Donovan Mace on the road ahead.
It was not the end to the regular season head coach Corey Mace and his Saskatchewan Roughriders were hoping for.
Did they get it? Hatcher came back to it. They'll say incomplete. The ruling on the field's overturned. Touchdown, BC.
Losing the final 2 games of the year, finishing with a 12-6 record, but clinching first in the West.
There was some really important football that we played these last 2 weeks for us. And I think it's going to bode well for us moving forward.
As the #1 seed, the Riders will host the West Final for the first time since 2019. But despite many chances since, Saskatchewan has not advanced to a Grey Cup game since winning it in 2013.
We've gotten to this point, and those guys have earned the right to sit where we sit, to be able to host the West Final. But certainly, we know how much work is ahead of us.
Throwing down here, over the middle again, and hauled in again. Oh, have yourself a game. Schaefer Baker.
Now, with an extra week to prepare and get healthy for the division championship, the team remains confident.
You don't change a thing, I think you just attack each and every single day the same way that you've been doing the entire time and keep chopping wood and carrying water.
I know for sure, no matter what, this team will scrap. And that's truthfully, I think, some of the DNA that you're going to have going into these playoffs.
Saskatchewan's next test, the winner of this week's West Semi between Calgary and BC, while the West Final goes November 8th at Mosaic Stadium. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
Get you the ball.
Good morning, bonjour. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. Thank you for being with us. About 51,000 teachers over in Alberta expected to be ordered back to the classroom today, ending a strike that's drawn on for weeks. Alberta's UCP government is planning to table back-to-work legislation this morning. Teachers have been on strike since October 6th. The union says the province has not adequately addressed class size, staffing, or wages. On a radio show, Premier Danielle Smith said the government has been listening but is not able to take every issue to the bargaining table.
So what we've been encouraging the ATE leadership to do is to accept the wage package, which is very fair, and the 3,000 teachers and the 1,500 education assistants, and then let's work together on how we go through school by school and classroom by classroom addressing it, because each classroom is going to have different solutions.
Alberta is planning to fast-track the legislation so it could become law by tonight, forcing teachers to return to classrooms within 48 hours. The teachers' union says it's waiting to see the legislation before deciding its next steps. That could include binding arbitration with a third-party mediator or challenge to the government's bill. Mosaic Stadium, Brand Center, SaskTel Center, all these places have sold their naming rights, but a Saskatchewan town is now trying to do the same. Stacey Hine with more from Duck Lake.
Duck Lake, a historic town home to just under 600 people. It's located about 90 kilometers northeast of Saskatoon. And for the right price, it can be renamed. The town is inviting businesses to bid for its naming rights. Mayor Jason Anderson says he got the idea after seeing a stadium in the U.S. sell its name for millions.
So I thought, you know what? Why not? Let's give it a try with the town's name.
Anderson says the goal is to breathe new life into the community by funding much-needed upgrades to roads and other infrastructure. Part of his sales pitch, it puts a corporate name literally on the map.
Their name would be on GPS. Their name would be on the weather network. Their name would be on all the signage and on all the maps. And that's not just in Saskatchewan, that's worldwide.
But there's mixed reaction among locals.
I'm so shocked. I didn't think they'd be renaming Duck Lake.
Any publicity is good publicity. As long as it promotes our town, I think it's a good thing.
The owner of the local general store says it could help the town, which in turn boosts business.
I think it's okay. That's growing my store and my town.
Duck Lake is widely known as the site of a significant battle during the Northwest Resistance in 1885. Brody Falcon says the town's name represents its history.
I'm a little bit annoyed about it, because with the history of the name of Duck Lake, it is not just a name.
In a statement to CTV News, the provincial government says council can request a name change, but ministerial approval is required.
The town is accepting tenders until March 31st. Then residents will vote on whether or not to rename the town at their next public meeting in April. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Duck Lake.
Hurricane Melissa is now a Category 5 storm heading for Jamaica, and it could be the largest ever to hit the country when it makes landfall. Ika Jachi with the latest.
This morning, Hurricane Melissa is now taking direct aim at Jamaica as a powerful Category 5, facing catastrophic and life-threatening flooding as this multi-day storm prepares to strike the island. The storm already dumping torrential rains, winds at least 160 miles per hour, and triggering severe flooding and destruction across the Caribbean, killing 3 people in Haiti and 1 in the Dominican Republic. Now expected to ravage infrastructure in Jamaica like this catch basin in Kingston, which acts as a dam for excess runoff in the city.
This is the catch basin for the Hope River here in Kingston, and it's supposed to help mitigate flooding throughout the city. But with that wall of water from Hurricane Melissa coming through, it could potentially overwhelm this entire structure.
It's a very dangerous hurricane that is approaching us, and we want to make sure that every Jamaican is safe.
Here in Kingston, anxiety is rising. Shelves already empty at supermarkets, with shoppers grabbing bottled water, canned goods, and flashlights as families prepare for power outages and sheltering in place.
We're trying to stock up on essentials.
With all major airports now closed on the island, many tourists suddenly finding themselves stuck, caught in the path.
I'm like, how am I going to get home?
We spoke with Donnelly Gordon, an American visiting from Atlanta, who has been desperate to get off the island since Friday. Now we'll have to ride out the storm.
They're blocked out flights all week, like completely. Nothing leaving out of the country.
At the Saskatchewan Science Centre, students had a chance to show off their skills: coding, robotics, video game design, 3D printing, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy on Saturday. It was hosted by Nanan STEM Academy. Co-founder Sean Nanan was keen to repeat the event for a 4th year.
So those essential skills include leadership, collaboration, communication, cultural competency, fortitude, resiliency. Those are the higher purpose essential skills. Now, the best way to deliver this is through interactive STEM activities. So it's also training them digital literacy that's required for the future as well.
Nanan notes that these STEM events run every 6 months around Saskatchewan in the months of October and April. The Saskatoon Hilltops will play for a record 24th Canadian Championship.
We put a lot of hard work in it, just like Regina has, and so we wanted to make sure that we were going to finish strong.
The PFC Final. The Toppers edged the Regina Thunder 30-27 in overtime this weekend at Mosaic Stadium to win the PFC title. They trailed by as many as 14 points in the contest. Saskatoon will now face the Okanagan Sun in the 117th Canadian Bowl at SMF Field on November 9th. The Brandon Wheat Kings beat up the Moose Jaw Warriors Sunday.
Stood against Pavlik, but got it right back. Serkan working it to Jacobson in the far corner, spun back to Misselbacher, scores!
The Warriors gave up 4 goals in the second, 3 more in the third, an 8-4 rout loss to the Brandon Wheat Kings yesterday. Luke Mistelbacher had 3 goals and 2 assists for the Wheaties. Moose Jaw has won 4 of their last 10. Keelan Sawatsky, we get over to you. There's going to be a controlled burn over in Wascana Park today. The winds are low here, but everywhere else, you said, might pick up a little.
Some parts in the central zone, that's where we're seeing some of those winds. Areas around Meadow Lake, around the Battlefords, could be seeing winds up to about 50 kilometers per hour. Down towards the south, we're not going to be seeing winds anywhere close to that. Could just be peaking around 30 kilometers per hour. Now, in Regina this morning, we're seeing -3. Winds currently coming in at 13 kilometers per hour. In Saskatoon, waking up to that 0-degree temperature, and some winds coming in at 24 kilometers per hour. In Saskatoon, we could be seeing them peaking this afternoon around 45 kilometers per hour. Now, let's take a look at this futurecast and show where that snow is making its way into this afternoon. Areas areas mainly up in the north, but throughout those overnight hours, we could see some of them dropping down into the central zone between Saskatoon and Prince Albert. Into tomorrow morning, though, we'll really just see that concentrating way up north with a lot more of that cloud cover. And then as we look forward to Wednesday afternoon, that's when we're going to start seeing some precipitation for areas down towards the south. So Saskatoon and Regina could be seeing some of that rain late in the afternoon. Now, temperatures, if you're just wondering how normal these are, today in Regina it'll be 12 degrees, Saskatoon about 11 degrees, and that is above the seasonal average for both cities. So that average this time of year for Regina is about 7.8, 6.9 for Saskatoon. Last year we reached 15 degrees in Regina and 12 degrees in Saskatoon, so we are going to be just a little bit below where we were this time last year. And the record was back in 1938 for Regina. That was 22.8 degrees. And back in 1944, Saskatoon peaked at 21.1. Now here's a look at that forecast for this afternoon around the province. 10 degrees expected for Swift Current with a mix of sun and cloud. 12 degrees in Moose Jaw. About 10 degrees for Prince Albert. Cooler through the Battlefords this afternoon with those winds. Again, could be gusting up to about 50 kilometers per hour. 8 degrees will be the high there. 12 degrees with that cloud cover down in Estevan. Now your 7-day forecast not looking too bad until later on in the work week. In the weekend, we see temperatures go down briefly, but Wednesday with that rain on the way, 10 degrees, dropping down to 5 degrees on Thursday with that cloud cover, 5 degrees on Friday to carry us into the weekend. And in Saskatoon, we see a little bit more of that precipitation on the way, so Wednesday, but in addition to that, we're also expecting some more light drizzle on Saturday afternoon. 8 degrees on Thursday, though, 4 degrees on Friday, so definitely dropping down to start our weekend with that mix of sun and cloud. Back up to 7 degrees on Saturday with that rain, and 8 degrees on Sunday with that mix of sun and cloud.
But it keep coming back like a revolving door. Said I want you less, but I just want you more. So I keep coming back. We dreaming hard, we came so far now. I believe we're going up.
Well, November is Financial Literacy Month, which is a good time to debunk some financial myths. And that's what Shane Menzies from Affinity Wealth is here to do. Shane, let's start with perhaps the biggest myth of all. You need a lot of money to start investing.
So short answer is no. We do not need a lot of money. Here at Affinity, we'll be able to help all stages of life. The sooner you start, the sooner interest can compound. Compound interest, snowball down a hill kind of. The sooner it starts, the longer it goes, the bigger the snowball gets.
Oh, I want to have a huge snowball, that's for sure. We've cleared that up, but let's get started because, you know, we don't all start with a big snowball, as you reference. Where should we start with a financial plan?
Yeah, so I believe that starting with a certified financial planner or a licensed advisor can really get a great start. We know what questions to ask to help get those goals met, strategies utilized, but to also just get an understanding of your monthly budget. That way you can understand what you're spending your money on and what you might be able to begin to set up for an automated savings plan.
Right, makes a lot of sense. So what do we actually need then to start investing?
So to start investing, again, I think circling back to that monthly budget is really important. Understanding, again, what's coming in, what's going out, so that way you can get a dollar amount that you're able to save on a regular basis. Understanding the goal, of course, that you're saving towards is helpful, of course, too.
Right, and then do you guys talk at all about, you know, like subscriptions and like, can I come with my budget to you and be like, where can I maybe tweak and save a little more?
Yeah, of course. The more you come with to us, the more it helps us, of course, but we can help to get those budgets a little bit more fine-tuned in the office, whether that's cutting out some expenses to add some savings or just figuring out where we can maneuver things for you.
Perfect. I love that. Now, finally, turbulent market times. We're living them, it seems, constantly. How do we control our investments through time?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things about investing through unique periods, to put it nicely, is automated savings plans. So again, having that purchase following your employment income or income that you're earning so that you're regularly purchasing. People oftentimes forget that when the market is down, it's actually an opportunity to buy. So if you're regularly buying, it's going to allow, again, you to get the experience of the market through good and bad times.
Perfect. So we average it out over time. Thank you so much for a couple of minutes. You can find Shane and the rest of the team online at affinitywealth.ca.
Now to the rise of artificial intelligence and the way some companies are pushing back on the technology to try to win over customers. Rebecca Jarvis has the story.
In the age of AI, some brands are standing out by rejecting it and making that their message.
What it's all about.
Erie's new ad campaign saying, "We commit to no AI-generated people or bodies," becoming the brand's most liked post of the year. Erie telling us, "We knew it was time for us to take a clear stance that real life and real people will always be the foundation of our brand."
It's just a distinctive point of view, and that really draws people in, because more than anything, what most consumers really want is to feel connected and to see and listen to human stories that are reflective of their own life experiences.
Dove also getting on board, pledging they will never use AI to create or distort women's images. Even Heineken poking fun at controversial AI advertising from friend.com, promoting AI connections over human ones with this ad: "The best way to make a friend is over a beer." And while AI is becoming more prevalent, experts suggest consumers will always have a say.
Consumer behavior has a huge opportunity to impact how brands think about using AI, and also advertisers, because ultimately the point of advertising is to sell more stuff. And so if consumers speak by making it really clear that they might reject certain brands if they're using AI in a way that doesn't speak to them, then brands will listen to that. Money speaks.
This doesn't make me want to buy anything. We want to look at real people in magazines.
This summer, an ad from Guess featuring AI models sparked controversy for perpetuating unrealistic standards of beauty, but the agency who created the models defended the practice.
This is meant to just supplement and to add, a new avenue of marketing.
I think it's this sort of putting your foot in the water to see how much people will tolerate it until it's either rejected altogether or somewhere down the line acceptable. It's pretty compelling for companies to use this technology because it helps reduce the cost of making ads. But if the public isn't going to accept it, then making those creative assets aren't helpful at all.
Rebecca Jarvis, ABC News, New York.
Let's check back in with Janella Pye once more, wrapping up her spooktacular adventure in the Terra Nova Terror House. Janelle.
Okay, well, as promised, Julia and I are now finishing up the haunted house. Julia, this is very spooky. I'm so excited. Should we continue on?
We shall. Let's see what we're going to find.
Okay, let's take it this way. Ooh, I don't think I like this. I don't think I like that. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. We've got an incubator here. Tell me a little bit about it.
Okay, well, this incubator is actually from General Hospital. It's from April 17th, 1944. This is actually one of our most haunted artifacts. This is one of the first years that I brought it out for everyone to see.
Wow. Okay, so are you getting quite a bit of an investment, I guess, from...
We had a paranormal team come out here last week, and so they were really interested in this because it's so old, and they were doing their thing, ooh, where is this in the EMF finder? And when they stopped believing, it was this moment where they stopped believing and they put it inside, and when they put it inside the incubator, the doors actually popped open and pushed the guy back, and he said, yeah, there's some stuff happening in there.
That is a sure sign for sure. Now, I think we've reached the end of the haunted house by the looks of it. We survived, Julia. Thank you so much for having us. One more time here, just in case somebody wants to come check it out, which I highly recommend. Where are you located? How can people find you?
Well, you can find me on Facebook at Terra Nova Terror. We're going to be opening up more days because there's a lot of demand. Or we are located in Balgonie at 406 Terra Nova Drive.
Perfect. All right. Well, once again, come check it out. I'm spooked. I'm very spooked. I think camera operator Ashley might be a little spooked too.
I think so too.
I think so. Julia, thank you for such a fun morning.
Thank you for coming with us, and thank you for experiencing Terra Nova Terror.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. This was a ton of fun, and that wraps things up for us down here in Balgonie this morning.
Oscar-winning filmmaker Guillermo del Toro says he would rather die than use generative AI. He told NPR, "I hope to be able to remain uninterested in using it at all until I croak." The Frankenstein director says his Victor is similar to the tech bros. He's kind of blind, creating something without considering the consequences.
This is so hard to forget them. My mom's trying to make it like my dad never even existed.
McKenna Grace runs the gamut of emotions in Colleen Hoover's Regretting You. Co-stars Allison Williams, Dave Franco, and Mason Thames were impressed.
McKenna's able to kind of tap into these deep emotions so quickly in a way that I don't think I've ever seen before. And then Josh, our director, calls cut, and she's just in a good mood, and she's joking around, and she's doodling.
I don't know, I just like to be very positive and energetic wherever I go, just because I think it's better than...
McKenna all around is just a good vibe on set. Like it's.
I try.
Yeah, I mean, like I show up on set in the mornings and she's like, "Oh, where's McKenna? Where's McKenna? Where's she at?"
Colleen Hoover's Regretting You is now in theaters. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
My trail dictate the rest.
Now, let's meet two brothers who could probably beat just about everybody else in chess as they compete for Team USA halfway around the world. Danny New has the story.
He got me. That's the sound of two talented brothers who can laugh now, but not when they're competing in the same chess tournament.
He can do fine as long as I do better.
Thankfully, Griffin and Sullivan McConnell here are on the same team this week after flying to Kazakhstan to compete in the second ever chess Olympiad for people with disabilities. More than 30 countries will be represented in this tournament hosted by FIDE, which is like the FIFA of chess.
We didn't think we were going to get into this tournament because there's just a lot of high stakes.
Let's start with the basics.
Okay.
This is a horse. Actually, I met with the family 3 years ago. Is it over?
Yes, I believe so.
And lost to Griffin in about 3 seconds, even though he was only about a year removed from his 4th brain surgery.
So you're saying you'd be in the middle of a chess game, have a seizure, and then go back to playing the game?
Yeah.
From an early age, Griffin kept experiencing seizures and eventually had a hemispherectomy to disconnect the two halves of his brain. However, while he was relearning all the basics like talking and speaking, guess what he says came back the easiest?
Because I learned how to do chess more than I wanted to walk or talk.
Thankfully, the now 21-year-old Griffin has not had documented seizure activity since, and he and Sully, who is now 18, are both considered national masters in chess.
I kind of look up to Sullivan because he knows more than I do, and so I want to try to learn and get better from my younger brother.
Well, this week, as they bid for gold with Team USA, Sully has a message for anyone who may happen to beat one of them in this tournament.
If one falls, the other shall rise to take his place. And we're like a hydra.
Danny New, ABC News, New York.
I love that. Good luck to them competing.
Yeah.
Good luck to them competing. How about this? A giant inflatable Kermit the Frog is the center of our sidebar. Taking over the Vendome In Paris, he's become the unlikely star of the International Contemporary Art Fair, Art Basel Paris. Now, some are saying the balloon is unique and funny, while others are complaining it stands out too much, a little too much. The 20-meter-tall frog, not a lizard, will be there until October 26th.
Jeremy, are you on team it's cute and funny or on team I would complain about this?
A little deflated. On purpose.
I don't... Neither. I don't know. I'd like to see it blown up before I pass judgment. It's a little odd, right? Yeah. What does it have to do with contemporary art fair? I don't know.
Oh, here you go. You're going to get your dream. You're going to get to see it blown up, I think. Oh, no, it's just...
Are they just not getting it ready for Macy's Thanksgiving parade in the States?
Yeah.
Basically where these belong? Okay. Well.
Okay. All right, well, let's get to this one. Ovi. Meet Ovi. Alexander Ovechkin, the NHL's all-time leading scorer.
Score.
Stop.
Score.
I'm sorry. Goal scorer has now met Ovi, the 18-week-old service dog in training. Ovi was named after the Caps captain in honor of his goal-scoring record, or score-scoring record.
He doesn't know, obviously, you're not supposed to pet a working dog. He's got the vest on. That's a working. You're not supposed to pet him.
Yeah.
But, well, I guess we'll make the exception.
But if it's named Ovi...
I guess we'll make the... Oh, give him a jersey.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh.
Okay, go score more scores.
Jeremy, do you support the jersey on the dog in this case?
Only if the dog likes it, which I doubt. He's already got his vest.
It looks pretty rough.
Look how depressed.
See you tomorrow. That's for Jenna. It's not depressed.